I believe we're live. Yes. Wonderful. Okay. Still learning every day. It seems like there's always seems to be a glitch or a flaw somewhere and having to relearn. Looking at my face, all of a sudden I'm changing colors again. You never know what I'm supposed to look like. It'd be a surprise to me. So what does this say? So, my name is Brenda Jean Power Medicine Woman, and I am from Medicine Woman Solution. And it says it's live on YouTube. We will see about that. We are also live across. We put a new thing up. It says, I have to check. How do I check on comments? Follower, slow, discussion, restricted, protected. Wow, this is new. Okay. Only your followers will be able to leave comments. I thought that's all they could do anyway. I didn't think anybody else could come in. Oh, I see. It's different. Protected. Comments must be followed. At least 15. What? They're really restricting the way people can talk on Facebook now.
Oh, wow.
Only comments over 100 characters will be shown.
Over?
Only comments over 100 characters will be shown. I can't see any comments until okay. I'm not going to set anything just because Betty actually said hello. So we'll see how this goes. They've changed the rules. At least I have gotten that. Okay, we're trying to figure out what's going on. Facebook did a few things new. YouTube's done things new. And it's like, surprise. Oh, yes, surprise. Well, I had an interesting dream. I don't know how else to explain it. I wonder if you're supposed to leave that open. Hold on, I'm lost.
I don't know, Brenda, if anybody else is hearing it, but I'm hearing some sort of like whooshing feedback or whirring.
There's absolutely no noise going on here. I turned the light on. Does that affect it?
I don't know.
Do you still hear it? I shut the light off.
No.
Okay. If I turn it on, do you hear it?
Not right now.
Okay, so we're gonna let it go. So welcome to the show. And we are waiting for spirits to download. Everything's changing. All the frequencies are changing. I woke up or went to bed last night and felt like more information is on the planet, more solid information of how we're going to be landing more in our dimension. So whatever bullshit you're aiming for that you don't know you need to heal, you better start learning to let that stuff go, because your inner world creates your outer world. And what do I mean by that again? It is this. Whatever it is your belief is, you accept it, you believe, or you fear, or whatever alignment you are in, you are setting your dimensional lineup. So if you believe in UFOs, you're going to probably see more UFOs. If you believe more in fearful things or conspiracies, then that's going to start spreading certain lights. Something is starting to become more into solid form. So again, the more collectively we choose to do certain things, the more we're going to decide where we personally are going to start aiming. And so that's why then I get up. We have good news. We have certain things that have been pointed out. Computers are learning how to look at things. And today is Earth Day. If I was in the United States, it would be Earth Day. Earth Day, and they're showing you that the Mother Earth knows how to do this. I've been told a long time ago that Mother Earth knows how to take care of you and take care of herself, and that's what's happening. So it's funny because it's like, okay, well, how do we keep these emissions down? Well, maybe we all need to take a break every, uh, you know, so many days or so every spring. You know why would spring? Because that's when it's the epidemic issues. Throughout history, it's always been around what is it, February, January, February, starts a little bit in January, but it's like February, March, April, and into May. Those are the epidemic years, or months, if you were to go out and look through all the years. Um, so that's what I find interesting is we're going to come up with learning to resolve. What is one of the things that happens with emotional intelligence is that if you have a low EI, and how do you know if you got a low EI? Well, it's like this. If you have short tempered, if you don't know what to do with your emotions, or you can't cope, or you're frustrated, or you're in hell, or your body is in just turmoil of every frequency response there is, then what happens is that your body will create these chemical peptides from emotions. And when those emotions kick you off, your thoughts will start going crazy, and your 41 thoughts per minute can be about anything, but it will zero in on one thing, and those 41 thoughts will be about that topic, whether good or bad. That's one of the things that happens. But if you are used to having your programs, and your programs are, I need to react, I need to protect, I put my defenses up, you develop those as a child. You develop those by watching how other people do them. You developed how from mirror neurons by copying, but without realizing it. This is how you are going to show up to the world based on how you see the world. And every filter you have will create more of the way things will begin to look to you. Okay. So it's very, very important to begin to understand that emotions have a lot to do with it. When people start to argue and say emotions have nothing to do with why I'm happy or unhappy, then they are at a certain level of consciousness, and you have to be okay with just letting it go. You're not there to educate them. You're not there to win a fight. That is the old mental intelligence. This is how you're supposed to define stuff. This is how you're supposed to protect yourself. This is how you're supposed to, you're right, they're wrong. It's all about the ego mindset. And you're learning how to become a spiritual mindset. You're learning to dive deeper into with your heart and your intuition, with your authentic self, which moves you into a space where you can allow yourself to become happier. But the only way you can really set your GPS to happiness is if you allow yourself to become aware of, oh, I just took offense. Oh, that hurt. And one of the things that happens is that if we feel them, that's the twang, and we run with it. And we think the worst case scenario. We do the power of post-hypnotic suggestion to ourselves. We run to the end of the timeline and scream and say, in our brain, if it's only going to the left side, we'll just predict the hell that it had from past end results, or borrowed thoughts from movies or friends or family, or again, from past results. And we don't feed the brain new information. So all it knows how to do is to, repeat. So you have 90% of your thoughts of the day before. So I've come a long ways as far as developing my emotional intelligence. My mental intelligence is not having to see those fears, those post-hypnotics, those pictures. Our brain sees in pictures. And when you start to work with the left brain and the right brain is about the negative side, the right brain is about the positive side. And when you can take those two halves of yourself and start to balance yourself out by understanding how you connect, how you communicate, how you are a spiritual human. We no longer just going to have everybody problem solve for us, or we're going to look at how that is the right way to do it and that's the way to solve it. And we are going to have more issues that appear. It's how you address it now. You have to really, really understand that when you're addressing something, when you're trying to figure it out, if you're an ego mindset, you're going to put yourself in a tailspin and you're going to emotionally drive yourself crazy. And I'm talking about feeling that life is not sane. Life is a little bit out of sorts. Life is a little bit crazy and confusing. Those are all signs that the emotional chemical peptide, that there is an emotion that literally is driving the driving the boat. I'm sorry, I see something that is annoying me. Well, I should say annoying the spirits, because all of a sudden it's like I was fine with it until all of a sudden, oh, what does that mean? Oh, haha, yeah, that's true, because aren't you doing it right now? Okay, let's put it this way. Energetically, everything speaks. Everything has a vibration and it has a way of communicating. When I'm looking at stuff, it'll either sound very loud to me or it'll sound imbalanced. Some of you may be really annoyed by how much is going on in my backdrop. And some of you are like, that sounds soothing. Well, that depends on the type of person you are, the amount, let's see. So what sensory being? We have all the sensories, but we have one that runs the show. It's more dominant than the rest. But when we're stressed, it really becomes dominant and it goes from balanced to imbalanced. So when you are an auditory person, you'll be hearing everything great. And then all of a sudden, let's say you're annoyed. Let's say something kicks off, something emotional or a trauma or a drama. All of a sudden, your ears feel like they're bleeding. Yesterday, I had in my group, I'm going to take a sip. So the membership class, there's 3 stages of the membership class, and the video was a spontaneous video, and that was for everybody. It didn't matter what level you paid. And the membership class, or the tribal unit, I should say, was towards the end, you know. So I'm like, oh, so at the end of the video, this guy decides he's going to use a chainsaw, cut something down. And like my inner world creates my outer world. I go, okay. So, but I didn't really let it bother me, but it started to build up on my nerves. It's like when your kids and other things start to build up on your nerves. What happens is when it builds up on your nerves, that is actually means that there was some type of unresolved issue a while back. So, one of the members had wrote about, hey, I had an emotional trigger. It was so intense. And so I was going to answer all of it, but I only answered part of it. And then all of a sudden the spirit said, get off. And because the time's up. And so then I just felt like it was unfinished. And then the next thing you know, the chainsaw was driving me nuts. I'm trying to walk through the house. I'm trying to talk to my husband. I can't even hear my husband talk. I can't even hear. I ran into the bedroom and I said, I have to close down the world. I need to close down the world because I want to scream. And I did. I ended up screaming. I could feel it hitting my nerves. And it's like, oh my God. And so I was about ready to do my healing. And the spirit said, no, I triggered you so that you can help Kevin. So you can help the members see that everybody goes through these issues and that you can show them what you do. And it's like, okay. I'm like, focus. Where did I put my phone? It was in my hand. Ugh. Okay, I'm so stressed. So when I put on, what do you call it? When I put on the record button, it was like, okay. And so I'm trying to communicate and work through it and teach at the same time. So I was explaining, and what happened was that I literally could hear when you're in your spiritual mindset and looking at your ego issue, you can hear certain things. And part of me kept hearing, oh my God, I'm gonna, you know, something bad's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen. And I witnessed something. I don't know what it was. I just know it was when I was younger. And so I went and started doing hope therapy, which was to start, you know, which is like this, holding a pulse point, helping my frontal lobe create reality better, and by bringing the blood back up, calming autonomic nervous system. And I'm focusing on the pain, I'm focusing on the hell. Now you're going to focus on the hell anyway, but apply a tool and you'll feel better. And And I like how Betty says, it sounds like nails down the chalkboard when I get there. Yeah. I mean, it felt like my ears are bleeding, my eyes are going to, I mean, every nerve. And so as I'm healing and healing, all of a sudden I started to feel it break down, break down. My body's like, yeah, we got this, we got this. And so then I ended the video, and then all of a sudden I thought, now I won't know until I have a test. Well, I was just about ready to get up, talk to my husband. I said, oh, I feel better. Boy, I was going to tell him about my experience. And the guy started it up again, but I hadn't noticed it. It was, wait, what's that? Oh, that's my test. And so I quickly got back on again. And it was such an extreme difference. And you have to witness the shift. You have to witness how you already know what pain, suffering, the nails on the chalkboard, the bleeding of ear type feeling, cancel. But it's the only way to really describe it. And we already know that, but we don't know how it feels to get out of it. So when you're doing quantum law of attraction, they're telling you to focus on what you want. Well, how can you focus on feeling good if you don't have a great picture of that? So to find out what something isn't, you have to find out what it's not. But if you get stuck on the not, then you have to find an experience that shows that it's good. And then, so anyways, now you understand what I'm talking about. I tell you, it was an amazing, and he kept going and cutting, and it's like, wow, it really gets intense. People's voices, children, nerves, kids can be great, but it's the vibration that's happening, or the certain frequency that maybe you're lacking or too much of. So it's not that the kids are bad. It's not that the husband's being a cuckoo head. It's your frequencies are grinding against something else. It's like, let's talk about major friction. Oh, don't apologize, Kevin. If you wouldn't have signed up, Spirit would have signed another person. So we're working together to get to where we're going. Okay, so Kevin, so when you get more into the tribal unit, you'll begin to understand that apologies is where you're supposed to punish yourself. It is, it's not just saying you're sorry. It's just that it's part of, oh my God, it's my fault. Oh my, and that's working with ego mindset people. In spiritual mindset, we agreed a long time ago that since I didn't want to use my kids growing up. I says, look, you can work through me. You can work through other people, but do not work through my kids, please. Please. I don't want to have to deal with trying to figure out how to take care of sick children. I don't think I can mentally handle that. You can do it in doses, small ones, please, so I can learn to process and heal that out. And so the Spirit then has all you wonderful souls that said, hey, it is in her contract. She needs help. So I'll sign up and I'll be somebody that's going to trigger her or be the butthead or what. So I understand spiritually that Spirit brought that beautiful man into my space with his own issue. And Spirit wanted me to work on my issue as well as help him and anybody else, because it is a tribal unit to help people to resolve, to evolve, to help them grow by me doing quantum law of attraction soul coaching. And that is one of the things that I finally get to do in such great large quantities, instead of just me and my mirror in my bedroom going, hey, hi everybody. You get to grow. So when you're looking at healing yourself, and like the one thing about Kevin is that he was triggered, and you will learn that becoming a spiritual human, there is actually a glossary that can help guide you. Now, some Spirit says, you forgot your lips. I'm like, what are you talking about? I got them on my face. They're meaning this. I'm like, okay, so energetically it's off. That's what we were talking about. Thank you for bringing me back. So energetically, I will see certain things that will be out of balance. And so you can bring them into balance. But if you're just being human and you actually see something or hear something, sensory, pick something up that's out of balance, it'll drive you nuts, but you won't know why it's happening. Okay, so for those that have the ears to hear, will actually begin to notice that it's about putting in alignment. It is about controlling. Ego will control it. I could have done without, but at the same time, I could feel it. I asked, well, what's that feeling? They showed me. I could run with it as if I was a human being and be annoyed, or I can say, It is what it is. Thank you, Spirit, for alignment. And I take out the bad defining. That's the mental intelligence. It is how I define it as bad, how it's wrong, la. You're changing it. The mental and emotional intelligence needs to change. Anxiety attacks have to do with vibration? Yes. Okay, so I have a chart that has to do with, that's all we are. If you were to take and understand, we're just energy. Oh, what I do with my chart. We're just energy and we are frequencies. These frequencies have a vibrational rate. When they, and each of those frequencies are aligned up with your meridians and your chakras. It's aligned up with color. And so these are all about frequencies, vibrations, stories, how we create reality with the yin and the yang. And it's all of the different variations, or as I look above your head, the variables of the choices and from the quantum field. So the anxiety attacks, one of the things that you can do, like some people will go into high beta and it'll drive them right into an anxiety attack, or some people will go into an anxiety attack in a physical sense. We will use the innate intelligence. You'll just use an intention, a little bit of guidance. Then you learn how to, what point to rub, how to communicate with the innate, to balance. And like I'll have people, like my husband, it all started a couple of years ago when it came to just working not on emotion, but on the physical body's consciousness that communicates, because your body's constantly talking to you. It has something to say, and it's always relating back to a trauma and drama, an experience, a reaction. But a headache, like for instance, physically, we can say, oh, it's because I ate that food and it made me sick, or I drank that thing and it made me sick. And yes and no, because we have a sensitivity and intolerance or an allergy that will start to throw off the repulsion magnetic field. Magnetically, it's balanced. And if you have a magnetic deficiency, then that's not going to be a strong vibration. So then what happens is that you'll start to repulse. The more like you're annoyed, the more that you have intolerance for certain things, you will start creating a repulsion. As the electromagnetic energies in the body, you will feel them. Now, I know some of you are worried about 5G or Wi-Fi or the invisible. One of the things that I had a dream that, put it, I believe it has to do, some of the clues was picked up because Amy keeps getting a headache. It's spinning out. And I've noticed that my husband's polarity just flips. And it's like instant headache, instant pain, instant weirdness, instant, what the hell is that? And so, I give them points, not thinking, because I've asked, but energy hasn't come on the planet to say the collectiveness is as if this is what it could be. Well, my dream was that 5G was frequencies that are being put out and melting people's brains. And I thought, what? And here I am rubbing very specific points and it bypasses me. And I said, wait. And then it hit me because then I saw Amy and my husband and I realized that it had to do with the polarity that I keep seeing instantly flip. Now we check the polarity here. Okay, so if you're checking the you got polarity in your hand and magnetic in your hand, magnetic in your blood, your electromagnetic. You got that, right? So as I'm checking the polarity, it's like, oh, that's good. Now, if it was hard, that means there's an issue. Or if it doesn't move at all, that means an issue. So just to, long story short, what happens is that all the meridians, the 14 meridians, they all go in a certain direction, backwards, forwards, they don't go, yin goes one way, yang goes another. And if yin starts to go back on itself and yang starts to go back on itself, and then there's energies that miscommunicate, you will know because the polarity will be off and the frontal lobe that creates reality begins to be interfered with. Okay, there's a mixed signals, miscommunication. So I watched Amy. Her polarity felt like it was keeps going off, but it was tied to an emotion. So that's why hers, a seasonal emotion, a seasonal event. One of the things that happened is like when my brother died, he got in a car accident on my birthday, and then the next day he died. And I remember being younger, and I remember the chocolate cake. I remember the light bright game he gave me. I remember what he said. And I didn't realize that your body leading up to the time. Now, so it can be seasonal, it can be holidays, it could be weather, or it could be specific things like birthdays and particular snapshots that you take of certain things. And it'll be always like the same time of year. And one of the things that occurred was I remember part of me when I was little, I was like feeling really bad. And then I was watching how, and I have a family member, which I cannot say, the birthday's the day after mine. And I would look, and it looks so familiar with another family member that always wants attention, always wants attention. And I started noticing signatures at a very young age. I didn't know what they were, but I understood how to see them. I couldn't label them, but I could see them. And I'd look and I'm like, I don't want to, why does this have to be a big deal? Yes, it happened. I kept thinking to myself, yes, it happened. So my old soul is like, yeah, we've been here. And I didn't really want that to have to be the choice. And so I copped it out. I said, no, I'm not doing that. I didn't suppress it or nothing. It was just like, I'm not doing that. But I had done it and I could feel it. And I quite remember how my body was beginning to react, because the body consciousness holds all of everything. So you're looking at my subconscious mind. You're looking at my body's consciousness. You're looking at all the programs from my Akashic records. Yes, this is why I can look in the mirror and see your entanglement cords, your Akashic records, the stories, because it's all laid out very neatly to some degree. And sometimes it gets really convoluted because it goes this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. It's tied to this, tied to that. It's like, but if you understand how to read it, it won't look confusing. But anyway, you begin to move in the direction of moving forward. So emotions, frequencies, vibrations, anxiety attacks, anything that's an end result. The emotion, those behaviors are end result of a past experience. The past experience has the roots in your body's consciousness. I go in and I help you see that. That's what I'm reading. And you're like, yeah, that's my life. How'd she know that? Because all that information's there. Okay, I'm not digging deep. I'm not doing anything. It is a mirror. I'm looking in the mirror going, ooh, look at that. People say, well, how can you know that my friend that she needs help? How did you know how to give her what I needed? Well, first of all, did you just hold that in your head? So it's an intention. I just followed the intention and I followed the energy and the mirror popped up, and I don't do anything except for be listening with that high frequency bandwidth that doesn't have all the tainted hells and the tainted fears. And it is in that space. Now it's a high frequency. So sometimes I can't hear like people's names because letters, how do you want to put this? Like you try to get me to do math in this energy field, I'm much better at it. Trust me. Before it was like, I don't even know what the number is. Oh, that's a number? That was a letter. Comes to people's words, names. People, I mean, how do you know so much? I've learned it. I've downloaded it. I put it in my file system. I'll eventually be teaching you all this yourself. And then they just come in and they say, oh, here's a word. Oh, that's related to this. Da, 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 da. So they trigger my file system. Okay. So when it comes to looking, is that there's an energy that goes out, connects to that person. So even if I'm communicating with you, you already have that accord, and you already have this. And because I don't do linear and thoughts become things, I just go into the quantum field, tap into what their intention is, boom. And then if they have ill intention, it doesn't matter. I can still see beyond that. And I don't have to help anybody to hurt anybody. It's the soul that speaks. Okay. So I'm just going to stop for a second. Betty says, going and seeing you earlier videos on YouTube on the days you weren't on live back when I started awakening helped me tremendously. Oh, yes. Oh, I agree. I still watch them myself to take notes. I was able to see your growth. Thank you. It's helped me to see what I could do too. Yes. I want you to see my growth. I want you to notice that you can do it too. I want to be your catalog of life. That is in the glossary, because the catalog of life, do you remember when, way back when, before computers, was Sears catalogs, J.C. Penney Christmas things that you open it up, you're like, yay! And it's a catalog of life. You're like, you don't look at the stuff you didn't want. Yes, 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 yes. But you'll notice if your sister comes along and circles it and says, you can't have it, I have it. You're like, you feel this deprived, all that other stuff. But you have your own catalog of life. And the more you start to get your authenticity, the more you can look at the program and go, oh, I'm sure my sister will take it. Well, heal that shit. It's yours now. It's yours now. It makes a big difference. So I want you to see my growth. I want you to witness that if I'm in a particular state, I can get myself out. Like it was Vicky. My friend Vicky, we're talking and I says, I can't remember what I said, Vicky. It was something like, oh my God, that makes me royally pissed. And I was like looking at something and I didn't say nothing, do nothing like this. Just that's what pissed looks like. And I'm like, I felt it for a brief second. I felt the alignment and then answers, how to resolve. The answers from spirit goes, and it overrode having to go into that lower frequency of negativity, into the health, into the pain. But it was just struck me that I had to resolve something. So you end up learning how to look at clues. You will have your inner world will always create your outer world, Brittany. So let's just look at this, okay? If there's hell going on in front of your external world, then there is a program. Now, collective consciously, their past lives, this is what you chose on this planet, this is an epigenetic thing called encodings. And these encodings will play a part of how your fractal part of you, which is a fractal, if you imagine, just kind of grows and rotates and changes. And it's like when you see those really cool psychedelic kaleidoscopes changing, we get to change. We can go into a different groove. We just don't know we have the choice and the power and the strength to do so. And the innate wisdom, we've forgotten how to talk to our innate self. So frequencies, we all have them. Yes, that's right. I was going to show you. Here it is. Okay. So the frequencies are all the musical notes. So there's just, in this case, 12 musical notes that are based upon this particular woman's work and the voice bio machine, which I still wish I had mine. And this is a couple. This here's the physical, this is the mental, and this is the emotional. This happens to be a man and this happens to be a woman. This happens to be people that is in a very violent relationship. She has what he's missing. He has what she's missing. And these, when you look at that and you're like, well, why? She has to learn some issues in the physical. He has restrictions and arrested developments and things that he needs to learn in the mental and emotional category. The physical category, she needs to learn, it's not about lifting weights, it's about, if you listen to the old paradigm, it was a man was supposed to take care of the woman. That paradigm was a woman is supposed to not have property. If she gets inherited property and then she gets married, the man owns it. It's all of these old paradigms that are collapsing, that are done, they're leaving the planet because we have green energy now on the planet. Whereas the blue one had a lot to do with mothering, martyring, and we have shifted. So there's a lot we can do. So you learn how to affect your frequencies. You can actually learn how to change how you react in an instant, how you do not have to suffer and cope, deal and pacify. You can actually say, oh my God, suffering is an option. So looking at signs, Michaela says that what her definition is that maybe crows has something to do with death, because she said my uncle died about a week before I saw a bunch of crows every day. So in certain religions, cultures, beliefs, societies, wherever it was, crows represented metaphysically meant this. Now sometimes crows can mean something else. So everything means something. So in a metaphysical standpoint, which is I'm a metaphysical practitioner, I'm a metaphysical, I'm going to get my doctorate in it. It is finding the meaning by understanding the inside of a particular story. So, I mean, the body's always talking. So there's your metaphysics, and that's what I'm looking at. So now I'm looking at, oops, I had it. Like for instance, this one is Ted Andrews. So a crow can represent magical help. Unexpected help with the problems and obstacle is at hand to bring relief. Your magic is calling in the answer. So if she saw those crows, maybe it's a magic. For her, it is based on an old encoding, which was maybe crows represented death. Don't you have to decide. In some definitions, you've outgrown. You have to learn to let go. You need to redefine and say, no, I don't have to put that much power belief into it. That's where like superstitions has gone wild. Some superstitions, it depends. How much do you believe it? How much do you have to be controlled by it? And you can change it. Okay. Oh, thank you, Pilly. Yes. Yeah, the spirit in me, I live it, breathe it, walk it, talk it, and dream it, because I've tapped in my authentic self, which taps in my higher self, which taps into the bandwidth of the high frequency, so that if you understand the levels and planes, and you keep asking to go up to where the creator of all that is, and then you say, thank you for helping me communicate with spirit and see things, and to help, as part of my program was to help people awaken and to this new earth and all this. So I says, help me line up to my purpose. Because of that, the frequency, the planes that are down below the creator that all it is, where there's angels and then there's the spirits from the other side and all of that, I had spirit will help you, train you for whatever your purpose, whatever that alignment, whatever that ability is. We all have great abilities, but it's the hells, it's the ego mindset, it is the negative emotion. So if you understand, I think it's David Hawkins, but it's power versus force. So 500 hertz is the love, and then anything above, and then anything below. But I have watched people carry that higher frequency, but yet still live an ego mindset. And it doesn't do them any good. And I'm like, how did they get there in their level of consciousness, but yet still are doing the negative on the other side? And then spirit takes me, walks through that and heals that and grows from that. And that's a long story. I'm just going to not be too winded on that one. Yes, and that is one of the things about the spiritual stuff. It is, I'm taking the woo-woo out, so that, because woo-woo was, when the splitting of the yin and yang, and they created shadows to be in that old aspect, the yang aggressively would overcome the yin. I'm not talking body parts, I'm talking about frequencies and energies. And it was to see what it was made of, see what it's not. And it's the dance between the two. So they went into that space, and as they did so, we got to see how woo-woo was bad, because that's what the yang said. That's bad, that's evil, that's wrong. And then the church controlled it, and all the things, other people controlled it, and then it ended up being that it took and went underground. That's what yin is in the dark. Yin is that spirituality part. So we then started to wake up and to come back into this present day with the higher consciousness that we're doing on this planet within ourselves. And we don't have to have great pioneers. We can now start to get the 100 monkey theory. People are waking up, but they don't know what that looks like. Well, you got to let go of those lower frequencies. And part of the woo-woo was eventually when we hid the the spirit says, when we hid the tarot deck, we gave them to the gypsies because really, you know, hey, it was all about the Spanish Inquisition. It was all about all of those. And then if you got caught having spiritual stuff, that was wrong. That was evil. That was, you know, jail time, murder time, all of that. Conform. And so the gypsies then took that information, did whatever they wanted to do with that, but they kept that collectively, what do you call it, safe, so that that information did not get lost. And so then time moved forward. Now it's in the hands of all of us, but there are still people that use that wonderful information from oracle decks, tarot cards, from intuition, and still use the mystery that causes people to be fearful, or causes it so that they get the control, or causes that. But we're learning how that there really is, the mystery doesn't have to be so fearful, or so it can be intriguing and it can be loving. I love the mystery. I love listening to spirit of how it teaches, but don't give everybody your power. Okay, this is where I like to teach people how to empower themselves, how to, you know, Amy's going through a hell of a moment yesterday, and that was my day off, and I had plans, and I was not going to sit there and break those plans. And it's about respecting boundaries and all these other things. And the spirit says, don't give into that. She has been taught. Now it's time for her to start to fly. You know, she's got that information. She's got to learn to build up that trust in herself, and that great love that comes through when her mom comes through, and that she can do this. She's got it. She's got to build up. I did it. It's the witnessing. That's why I make everybody witness. And she did it. And the turnaround time, Amy, wouldn't you say the turnaround time was actually faster when I said, no, I can believe in you. I want you to do this. And I mean, Amy could tell you it was pure hell. There's no way out. My mind says my head's going to explode and I'm just going to die and there's no way to return back. And I've been trying to deal with this and I feel insane. Would you say that's probably how you felt?
Exactly.
Okay, so what else? What else did you, can you explain it in your words? And don't use my voice, but in your words. And then when you began to use tools, tell about that. And then how you knew the difference. Try to give people an idea.
Are you going to put me on the screen?
Well, people also hear you on Facebook, but give me a second.
I know, but that way I'm not big on the screen.
Ah, I see. See, it doesn't show up on my end. Hold on. There, I think I did it. How's that?
Well, I don't see it yet, but
all right.
Well, I had gone to bed and then you decided you went live, and so I was watching that in bed last night.
Okay, remember now, she's in Minnesota and I'm South Australia, so my noon is what time for you?
11:30, something like that.
Oh, so it's pretty close. Yeah.
Anyway, it was a normal bedtime here, and in the feed, somebody had said something about their mom, and
so then she got a trigger.
That triggered me because Friday would have been my mom's 86th birthday. And I always get sad around this time of the year for the past 7 years. And I thought about it and I'm like, okay, yeah. So I sent you a text, is this why I've been such a sad sack all day? And you said yes. And then I
remember the sad sack is that she's been crying on and off all day. I don't know if she told you that.
Yeah, I've been drop of a hat, wanted to cry. And then but it was different. It was different this time because I remembered that I was the one that told the hospital staff to turn off the vent.
Now she was asked, that was part of her job, is that she had to, if it came to that point, she had to be responsible for it.
And that's what threw me way over the edge. And I used the, oh my God, I used EFT.
These are healing tools.
I don't remember what all else I used. And I'm like, Brenda.
At this point, she's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, there was no
point of return. It was like, God, I'm over the edge.
No, it's like, I don't know how I'm going to come back from this. And then Brenda sent me a point, and I held that point and got it down to where I could actually function and again. And then I asked for a session, and she said no, because of what she already said, that I need to trust myself. And I did it.
Yeah, she did. She did it. But how? Okay. So the time that I gave you, you went and healed with the point. I gave her healing tool, and that's the soul coaching. And then you come back, and I told you, no, you have to go and do this. The turnaround time actually was quite fast, wasn't it?
I say 10 minutes.
Yeah, and normally you'd be doing this for how many days until over Friday is over? And
yeah, and then I would start all over again because May 28th is the day that she died.
Aha. See, so she would have back to back of unprocessed emotions. So good job. Good job. I know Spirit was proud of you. You even witnessed on the tribal group, tribal unit, the one that you have to be in membership for with. And my husband goes, oh, look what Amy said. Blah, blah. And so he gave you encouragement. He's been there, and I completely forgot about this, teaching certain seasonal things. But he has gone through his own hell on his birthday, not to take away from yours, but on his birthday, when he read your story, the information, he's like, wow, I had healed from that. And so the incredible amount of how he looked back, and it controlled his world. This is one reason he connected with me from Australia to Michigan, was that on his birthday, the woman he was dating had a daughter, and the daughter hung herself on his birthday. And he thought it was a party going to happen, surprise party for him. So he's all excited. And then when he got closer, he realized, no, there's something bad happened. And so the sight, the sounds, all of that just teared him up, So, he's thinking back after he read yours, and his trigger was, oh my God, I was there once. I know what she's talking about. So he's looking at the experience without having the experience own him. That is incredible. You will get there too. Mm-hmm. And it's not a promise I can make. You got to do the work. But it was cool to watch his face go, wow, I was there. It's not owning me. And that's why he wrote, oh my God, I'm so proud of you, Ames. It was just like, oh, by the way, Amy, we have a bird named Amy. It's a little white cockatiel, and we named it after her. And the funny part is she was being a little naughty girl. And so you two are going to have to FaceTime. You're going to have to give her some words of, good behavioral aspect. But anyway, just kidding. I mean, yeah, the bird was like, ah. So.
The bird was channeling me.
Yes, that's what yeah. So sometimes we can look at the bird and go, Amy must not be doing good today, or oh, okay, Amy must be okay. So what's important is, Brittany says I got booted when you said the word hell. Oh, hello, how's that? You can stay. Okay, I'm just reading through stuff. Somebody had asked real quick before we go. Now remember, before we go, what I meant was, if you have a 1-minute read, yes, you can get this free read. Just email. It makes it easier because there's so many boards that we got running. Because Spirit wants me to make sure I reach out to touch people. Ha, ha, ha. And so I'm just going to double check real quick in one of my boards to see where I'm at. Ashley says, this may be a silly question. First of all, there's really no silly questions. That's what ego wants you to do. Just shut up. No, I'm curious. I'm curious. It says, I feel comfortable asking here. Yay. Are deja vus real? Yes. In fact, I had one the other day. Brand new client. And it wasn't until towards the end. And then all of a sudden, there it is, the exact pajamas that they were wearing and the conversation we were having. I knew what I was going to say next before I said it. And I'm like, I've been here. Uh, and I just was like, whoa, okay, that's cool. So I'm going to just tap into this one. Um, I've had multiple deja vu where I know exactly what's going to happen. What, yeah, yeah, it's kind of funny. They're fun, they're freaky, but if your ego keeps rejecting it because it's like, oh, that's not real because that's what society says or the collective conscious says, then you're going to have an issue more and more because it's going to pull you away from your own true nature of your authenticity because you have to feel like you have to fit the crowd. Um, and we're taught that we're supposed to be fearful of all of that woo-woo stuff, and it's it's actually quite natural and normal. We just don't know what it really means because we've shut that down, if that makes any sense. Look at all these beautiful people here. Okay, so when you are developing your abilities, notice how your first reaction is ego. It's new. I'm scared of it. It could be run in timeline. Oh my God. And usually the first thing that's been pumped into us is that it's evil. Okay. And how do you really know that? Well, you can do some protection guards. You can put the pyramid of white light around you. You can use the white light tunnel to clean up like a tornado that cleans up. You can definitely make sure you feel like you're in a higher frequency. You're raising your frequency inside. You have to get through the love and you start to go up. And when you get to a certain point, you'll feel stuff. But if you don't, if you know, you can say no. And if you really don't think you can, just really show yourself how you can say no. Now, if you have a issue where you can't say no, you have to obey, heal that shit out before you try doing any spirituality. Heal out the emotional pain because you don't need to draw that. That's a calling. It's like, you're sad. You're going to call up, hey, sadness, come follow me. Now, again, that is law of attraction. And you have to start taking responsibility whether or not, okay, spirits, get away from my camera. You got to take responsibility to whether or not when you enter that space with intention, if you are going in sadness, you're going to attract sadness. This is how you define your world. But if you learn to take care of those with your innate self, learn how to take care of those emotions, you are then saying to the universe, cancel all the sadness. My GPS is set to happiness. Thank you. I will have some helping of happiness right now. And in this moment. Yeah, right now. And you don't have to keep going back into your pains and your hells and all of that other stuff. Trust me, I've been doing this for over 30 some years. Yes. Okay, so I need to really catch up. Oh, Vicky says I've seen the name Amy everywhere today. Driving her nuts. First it's your cats, now it's just you. Oh, there might be something you need to look at, Vicky. Okay. Hey, we do have similar colors, don't we? I've got, well, that screen shows pink and it looks just like yours. This one is actually, I think, a tangerine, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, this is like a kind of a pinky, purpley, like a fuchsia.
And it's coming on the Rhonda screen is orangish.
Yeah, yours on my tablet is like a light peach. On my phone, it's more orangey, and on the computer, it looks like we're twins.
It's funny. Yeah, my laptop does the same thing. If you join up today to the travel unit, you get the rest of the month of April free. And so then, that's how we're doing it. So
you get to see Charlie.
Oh, it was so cute.
Oh my God, I have watched that so many times, Brenda.
Oh, he really, I think he knew I had the camera, and I think he could feel the females on the other side of that phone, because let me tell you, he goes nuts when he smells females. He's like, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we have one friend, Diana. She'll come to my house, and just her smell or whatever it is, he's like, whoa. And he even looked her right in front of us. He goes, woo. He looked her down and was like, oh my God. I said, Charlie. He's like, woo. Oh yeah. I'm like, goodness gracious, Charlie. I says, so but he was really showing off. Other times he just say hello, hello, no, and he doesn't do it very often. He was putting on a show, but Charlie's my big
so cute.
So yeah, I just wish the Chainsaw Man wasn't behind there making the noise. Chainsaw Man. Oh my God. Oh, I have to figure out the year. Chainsaw Massacre. If I had to figure out the year that came out, my mother was a big horror buff. Now I've got to go figure it out if it's around the same age as they're talking about, because like, what? The way I was saying was, oh my God, something bad's gonna happen. Something bad's gonna happen. And I remember
1974.
1974.
October 1st was the first time it debuted.
Okay, all right. So now I'm gonna have to ask Spirit later about what age exactly was it. But yeah, rest of April's free. Yes, there you go. Yes, sign up. There's 3 stages, and understand if you pay for the cheap one, you get a lot of goodies. It's just that if you want to join the other stuff, you'll see that there's discounts down the road if you choose. Well, what we call the entities in lower frequencies are goobers. So we don't give them a name. We just group them. And then we take the emotions that disconnect those emotions and resolve those out so that they have to float away, because you don't have to have that connection. You don't have to draw them anywhere. And yeah, okay, I can't even get to the bottom. Is there a pinned comment below?
No, I cannot pin it, and I don't know why.
It's those new rules, remember? Now, I don't understand why. What do you normally put in there? I can't remember. Those emotions, and resolve those out so that they have to float away. Because pull that shit out, Brenda. That's what I'm telling myself. I have to take my own advice. Okay. Okay, so what we're gonna pin down below.
Okay, I'll paste it.
Hold on. Oh yeah, you paste it and I'll take it.
Or I'll post it and you paste it.
I'll pin it.
There, you pin it.
Yeah, you do that and then I do this. There you go. Oh yeah, today's the 23. Yep. Why? Because I give you deeper. We're already gonna start. Oh shit! A bunch of. Okay, loved ones, get in your corners. I know.
23, Pilly.
I know that they want. You want me to talk about this to that. They're a human. Talk to that. No, it's the computer. Okay. I get what they're saying now. Over here is the spirits. These are the people that have died, past lives, whatever. They're all there. This is the angels, the archangels, and all that. Animals are usually behind me, but the small little critters that can't get attention, then they're all underneath my feet. So see what they're doing to my camera. They're deliberately changing it, so they know they're tricky. They want me to address like the goobers, okay? Yeah. All right, so your definition, if your definition is to misunderstand them first, it's like I have to fear you first and then shoot to kill. One of the changeovers that I had was back in 2007. I'm sitting in class with a bunch of people, and she says to everybody, oh, we have to be fearful and we have to do this. She goes, stop. She says, that's really an old paradigm. She says, if you're connecting with source, that light source, that higher frequency source, they're already going to take care of it. Okay. It is also re-educating yourself. And so I'm listening. And she says, So every time you approach them with they're the enemy, with that filter, you're going to miss learning how to develop your abilities. But if you remove the fear and you remove that negative belief system and you do all of your precautions that you need to do, then spirit's going to help weed for you. And when that happens, it's like spirit has your back. So it is learning the difference between the spiritual mindset and the ego mindset. Now, she didn't teach all that, but what she had said was, why do you have to shoot to kill? Why? What's the importance of that? Why do you have to go there first? And I'm like, wow, I do go there first. And so I started to heal how I go there first. I started to transform out all of the emotions. And then all of a sudden spirit says, oh, hey, hello, how are you? I'm like, oh, how you doing? And then the filters changed, and then I could see them differently. I heard them differently. Knowing I'm more protected is a big difference. That's just, it's just a big difference. So we're getting ready to do it. So if you, as we begin to do the 1 minute reads, if anybody has paid for the 6 minutes, then people have, then we expedite it first. Okay, so she paid for the subscription. And then tonight's, okay, excellent. All right.
So whose name do I get to put in the hope chest?
I'm trying to figure that out. Hold on here. Well, I know Brittany. Now, she go by the name that's in the room. Oh, it's the same thing. Now, Dawn, you said that you donated. So what is that for? For the reading, and because when the conversion rate, you understand, it's not that I get more money, it's just that the higher cost of living. So it's like, don't think of it. Oh,
that's why it is stated USD in the pin comment.
Oh, that makes sense. So but yeah, so and that when it converts to here, I can't tell what you're paying for. So that's why it's always important to understand, because I still don't quite get it, because PayPal takes money out, or PayPal does this, or PayPal, and I'm like, PayPal, just don't mess with it, because I don't understand it when you keep doing that to me. Hey, Tracy. So anyway, if you could explain, are you going for a reading, or if you're going for, Dawn, if you're going for to be a membership, so that we can do the paperwork properly. And so we do know that Brittany says a reading tonight and a subscription. So that's what we're doing. So the reading tonight for Brittany. So what that means is that she's expedited, meaning she gets to have attention first before I do the free reads, because she has put the energy in, she put it back, so it's this balancing. Okay. Now, Brittany, if you want 2 extra minutes, then you can download Zoom, go to the Zoom room, and type in 121. Oh, no, that's wrong. Oh, that's right. They switched the number on me today, didn't they, Ames?
It's
guns.
588-223-2206.
That's right. I forgot they switched that on me. And you worked yesterday just fine. And come on, be nice to me. There it is. 588-223-2206. And
2206.
Well, that's what you get for when you don't think anybody's going to. Well, you kind of can see it. Anyway, you want a couple extra minutes, you are more than welcome to have that couple extra minutes. My gift to you, by coming into the room on YouTube so that I can see you. If you're like, but I don't want to be seen, that's fine. Do not hit video and we'll see your name. Okay, so that's not a big deal.
Because right now I have my camera off and you can't see me on YouTube, but you
Nope.
can still hear me.
And I can hear her, but I see my logo. So just know you have that. Don't push the wrong button, Brenda. And I touched the wrong mouse. There we go. Now, Brittany, so you get to decide. She goes, the question is, what happened when I was 13-ish with a man named Kelly and a woman named Sherry? All I can remember is crying, falling down a black hole, Kelly begging me not to go. Okay. Very interesting. I'm going to get my pendulum, get my paper, look at all the beautiful faces. Spirit is already telling me that it's to do with where? Okay. Yeah, so physically, do you have some problems sometimes to do certain physical things moving forward?
Oh,
Because,
she's asking for the number again.
oh, excellent. I'll wait. It is 588-223-2206. All of a sudden, I'm just like wanting to cry. I'm getting all snotty. My body is mirroring hers, and it's like, oh, that is just one thing I wish that wouldn't happen, is that I get all snot-faced. Yeah. Wow. Sinus. Woohoo! Paid. No, okay, so Tracy Wallace has a membership. I gotta remember that. So, but if you pay tonight to get a reading, your name goes into the Hope Chest. Why? Because every month you have a chance to get many times you've paid, and that's the many times you go into the Hope Chest, and you get a chance to win a 15-minute free reading with me on the show. So I like that. Hey, Amber. Yeah, now on YouTube, you can see how pretty this Hope Chest is. She's got flowers in it right now. But soon, there she is. Yay, here she comes. And now we will wait for, there we go. The audio is kicking in. That's what we're waiting for. Okay. So can we hear you, Brittany? Or can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, so I may have to turn that up, or you're going to have to get closer. Do you have headphones?
There, I took you off my Bluetooth. Is that better?
A lot better. Thank you. Now we all can hear you. Now we can't see her face, but we can hear her wonderful voice, and I am happy for that. So, my dear.
It's dark in here. I got a candle going, so I'm in my bath. It's my nightly ritual.
Hey, oh God, I would love, thank you, Spirit, for helping me get a bathtub, because right now we gutted our bathroom, and then now we can't even get a bathtub in there, and I miss that ritual.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite.
Oh God, I remember my favorite. Yes. Okay, so that's cool. We have someone in the bath. Now, it's interesting because water is going to be around her to help with not taking on other negative emotions. So just let you know that. Now, what they're saying is, when I'm looking at the frequency of B on your B frequency, that's about doing certain physical things, taking physical action, feeling confidence that you can do things. Do you have those, or do you feel like sometimes you're lacking in that?
I definitely lack in those areas. I have masculine energy, so I run, and then I shut down.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And notice that that's a reaction. The masculine energy, what happens is that she's out of balance. She's out of balance with herself. And if I ask Spirit, just based on what she said there alone, Spirit is saying, well, take a look at how she feels. And I'm like, yes, I quite understand. She is. I have to take action because I feel depleted, and I'm looking for acknowledgement. So if I'm sitting still, they're looking at me and they're telling me I'm doing wrong. You need to keep busy. You need to keep doing this. You got to keep doing this. And how that came about was not that it was just about how parents were going to judge you if you didn't do something. It is, I don't know what to do with this emotion. So if I ask, if we're going to go to 13, they're saying actually 13 was stemmed from when you were 2, but they're similar. And they're saying it's about how your safety issues. and the fear of being controlled. So at 13, if I asked them a little bit more, they said, you became very self-conscious, your hormones were coming in, and misunderstanding. I don't know if it was about a misunderstanding or not, because you felt it was not right. I felt uncomfortable. I felt exposed. I felt, you felt physically exposed, as if you were naked and somebody could hurt you. You felt very vulnerable. Because of that, your mind started to conjure up, like, what's the worst thing that's happening here? What's really what they're asking? And you did not like, okay, this is going to sound weird. Do you have small breast?
C cup, but Kelly and I had an affair behind behind Sherry's back.
Okay.
He was my first, I didn't say no. I mean, I know it was wrong, but I didn't say no. So I don't really consider it a rape. But her sister came down one time and told me that I was a natural witch. And I don't remember much else except for being on Kelly's lap with the black hole and just begging me not to go down the black hole and to come back.
Okay, you said the word witch as in witchcraft?
Yes.
Okay, so what I feel is the power of suggestion. Okay, so how do I explain this? So I understand. The reason why I asked her about her breast is because the energy that's running across her is that she was fully exposed. It's as if she was felt very vulnerable. And a lot of times women will end up making their breasts disappear. Okay. And then some people make them extremely big because they don't know what to do with that energy. And she said she's just a normal C cup. C could be big. I don't know. I'm not good with cup sizes, but all I can say is we have thunder rolling. Hopefully I do not lose the connection. Just to let you know. So the power of suggestion. In hoodoo, I don't practice any of that stuff, but you have to learn about a certain amount of things. In hoodoo, it's the power of suggestion. It's the power. I am not going to tell them not to watch that movie because we don't need that type of thinking. So she's already there, which means there is the convincing. There's a convincing aspect of it. And that's the sad part, is that she has already convinced herself that it was wrong. She already has those emotions she can't handle. She doesn't want, like I said, there's a fear of being controlled, and there's a convincing. Now I'm just going to ask Spirit. All right. So the identity is that you have to give up on your expectations and live what somebody else tells you. As far as if I'm looking at parts of you, I know what she's thinking as far as, I'm not going to put it out in the universe, so I'm just canceling it as I look at it. I'm asking if it's here. So when somebody gives you the power to making you feel bad for something that you've done, which is a natural state, but if you're going to do it in some form of witchcraft, then it can be a lot to do with the frequency of control. Like, so you know when somebody's mad at you because the energy comes off of you. And it is that frequency that has come out. Now, if I ask Spirit, what causes the B to go down? Other people's F energy. So when people express certain, it goes into the emotion. So what were they expressing to make her feel like she went down the black hole? Your safety is, So basically they're telling you that that your safety is in my hands, meaning I have the power to break you. So she was convinced. How interesting. We're going back to the convincing. And that their way. Okay, so the more you sit there and go, oh my God, that's so true, then you're giving your power to that and agreeing. You understand?
Yes.
And you then will conjure up pictures, and they're using the word conjure. I don't usually like to use that word, but that's how Spirit is telling me that it appeared. So you have pictures. It is the power. And if we were to take and say, if I ask Spirit to make that, to dissolve it out, they said you have to look at how they made you feel worthless. Okay. And that there has to be justice done. See, then that's where you turned on yourself. So now you have, yeah, I'm watching your spin now. There I go. Where do you want her to hold to get rid of this? Okay, so can you see how you don't want to go there again? So you put a self-imposed limitation. I'm not going to act this way. I'm not going to behave this way. I'm not going to. And then when somebody's convinced you to do certain things, you will come up against that limitation. It becomes an arrested development. And therefore, it feels like people have controlled you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay. So if I asked you to, so that I'm going to start to break it. So what happens to the left brain? What happens to the right? So every time, okay, I'm just looking deeper. This is, again, a really deep, very significant experience.
Yeah, and well, it goes back to like not remembering my memories from before. When I started the spiritual journey last July, something was mentioned which triggered the memory of the black hole and those two people, but I couldn't remember anything else.
Okay. Because it was related to a trigger of disapproval. And that they are alone. So I think these people, so in the beginning, would you say these people, did you trust them? Did you believe in them? Did they take and receive your love?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. I was always with them, helping them.
Okay. This is what happens because they said love unreceived. So as she tries to be who she used to be, which was just ignore that. You're gonna have a few more because this is too juicy. You, my dear, do your best to be in love. It is unreceived. That moment, very confusing because when we got hormones, we've got other issues that are happening. And if you have what she's got going on, see, like I'm feeling all of her indigestion. Every energy is kind of going weird, different, backwards. And I'm feeling how, I'm seeing this is the pictures. There it is. It's the pictures. It's not even just about words. It's the look. It's the gestures. It's the, so is that where the seed, the power of control is? Would you say that when people are talking or you're reading a book, you can paint pictures and it feels very real to you?
Sometimes I was better when I first started, and then I fell for a trap and got reattuned, and so now my visions have been rebuilding.
Okay. And the reason why I say that is because, like, if I'm reading a book, like if you can remember when you were younger, oh, that story came alive, or somebody's reading a book to you and you're like, oh, I remember when I read Harry Potter, the story was so real because when she wrote it as she saw it, as if the movie was already played out. So when you put that much intention when you're writing, you will make what is important for your works to be received because people can all of a sudden tap into the energy before they tap into the words. What I see for her is that one of her abilities is, we all create pictures, but for her, it was, I feel the emotion. That's probably why she's in the bathtub, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm very, very emotional and feel other people's emotions like crazy.
You're meant to feel the impending doom that was placed upon you as your punishment. I'm actually hearing a spell, so just hold on. And you're supposed to be suspicious. You're supposed to have emotional instability. And you're supposed to reject things out of your reality. Therefore, it begins to feel like you have the lack of power. So then you're drifting. So I'm just going to go quiet just for a moment, just because I have to communicate without saying things out loud, intentionally to keep safety and security.
Okay.
Okay, so part of that identity we need to start pulling, because you have an identity and then you have a reaction that's the identity. So how many identities are we looking at? 2. And it was conjured. There's that word again. You're supposed to have efforts unreceived, love unreceived. You got to see how much people are repulsed by. And again, it's going back to one person that was repulsed, that rejected. And you are now supposed to, so we want you to, I want you to put your, are you hands free? I don't want you dropping the phone in the water at all. I can't see you, but if you had your
I can
hands
set it down.
Excellent, as long as you can see me, okay?
Yep.
Left hand, that
Left
first
hand.
position right there. Can you see that?
Okay.
You're gonna put your thumb there and your finger in the palm and wrap your other 3 around, okay?
Okay.
The thumb is gonna be pushed in deep. Now I want you to put your hand up here and you're touching the top of your head and your forehead and you're gonna hold that. And I want you to feel and just allow yourself to feel that story, that situation. And we're just going to ask, and if you're safe, you call in your guide so I can communicate with them, because I'm not going to enter your space. I believe that's not something that's necessary, but I'm going to talk to the mirror. So I'm going to ask your innate if this is safe, that it'll continue. And then if it does, then there's your soul says, okay, because they're ready to release a pattern. I'm watching as if she's in front of me. No, she's not naked and in the bathtub. So whoever thought that question, just forget it. Etherically, you know, I just see her right in front of me, energy wise. So I want you to begin to feel in the situation the overwhelm. Okay, whatever picture begins to pop up, whether it's the dark hole or whatever, just let me know when a picture just begins to become overwhelming and shows up. Okay, so there you can't see that first one, but it feels like you have the inability to fight back. And so if you just allow yourself to say, if I saw this, can you find it and stare at it and say, have it, because can you see it looking at you?
No, all I see is just emptiness, like a circle of gold light maybe every once in a while, but pretty much just.
So now let's get rid of your physical sight. Let's look through your intuition, which is, if I said, can you imagine what a rock looks like? Now imagine a big boulder with 2 tiny little stones. Can you imagine that?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so she's got that. Say, let those go. Now, that feeling of how you know your story and you know it to be true for you, allow your eyes to drift there and stare at it, because I know you see it.
Is it on a bed?
If you feel like you need to have those pictures, that's great, but can you just feel like how it's in the body as well?
Solar plexus and heart.
Good. Now notice that it doesn't have to be, it can be something that's unseen, but you can vibrationally feel it. Now I want you to take and tell me how strong those feel.
Ready to cry.
Okay, so we're going to preserve all the necessary learnings, and with your spirit guides' help, whoever you feel safe with, okay? But I'm just calling in that higher vibration and the pillar of white light in the name of Jesus. And what we're going to do is we're going to allow you to feel safe. And that little girl, that younger part of you, and apparently there's another younger part of you, they want to take and let go of that feeling. So you're going to feel maybe everything kind of intensify in that area. And when that begins, we start to remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go. And you're going to start playing it come outside your body. And as it starts to come outside your body, you imagine a treasure chest. Now this is how spirit receives it and cleans it. So just feel that. Okay, remove, transcend, let it go. And as you allow this to happen, can you feel it coming outside your body?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to take everything out by the roots because they have no power to be in there. There's no more permission. I want you to see how the little girl goes, no! I want you to see that 13-year-old, no! And when they scream no, they take their power back. As they take their power back, gets disconnected. Okay, there you go. Won't do it again. There's another one. Oh, somebody, oh, you have another, your 5-year-old self says, well, that happened to me too. Come on forward, honey. Come on forward. Breathe it through. This isn't a different energy. This is a different spot. Where's this one at?
I have no clue.
That's okay. Let's just say we're going to suck up like a vacuum cleaner. And we're going to then blow it all into the treasure chest. Can you feel that it's outside of you now?
Yes.
Is there anything left inside the body? Because as that starts to suck out and then blow into the treasure chest, we're going to look between our toes, our butt crack, in our hair follicles, behind our earlobes, between our boobs, underneath our boobs, wherever it is.
I have back pain.
There you
lower
go.
back stretching up.
Breathe and say, oh, I don't need that there. And you're going to notice that all of your little selves are helping to push that out because they have the ability now. They're like, ooh, I know I can do this. I'm going to help all of me. Remove, transcend, let it go. Let it go. You may see some color. That's fine. Let it go, because this is what happened. You related that to some negativity. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. And you just start to pour it all out. It's more of a liquid now. Get it all out. And then the permissions are gone. And then what happens is you're going to see a bunch of golden white lights beaming into those points. And those little selves are dancing with joy going, yeah, because they know they're safe now. So let it build up, let them feel, let them have that joy, let them feel that they have their efforts that they did was worth it, and that they can receive again with love. And then there you go. Now there's another piece. Pay attention. It thought it almost got away. It reminds me of like a small frog. I don't know why. But look at it. It feels like it's in the front of you, like just out, say, hanging out in your aura. Okay.
Yeah, in the head. Yeah, I can
Okay.
feel the pressure on my third eye.
Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, well, I'm not going to forget my aura. And we have all those layers. And at all the seal points where the chakras are, we're going to have the whole, there you go. There's the pillar of white lights, cleaning it all out, sucking it all out, pulling it out. And how you know it's there, you're pulling it out, putting in the treasure chest. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And then as soon as more all goes out, when it all starts to go out, you're starting to notice the difference that it's out. And in place of it, here comes this white light. Here comes this white light. Here comes this white light. Okay. And as this white light comes in, feel it into your aura. Feel how your aura is getting fluffed. Got it?
Yeah.
Now, I want you to notice. There you go. The overwhelm. Is that even there anymore? Is there any overwhelm left?
No, I feel complete peace.
Good. Now I want you to notice that this white light's not going anywhere. That's you. That's your spirit back into your body 100%. That's you lined up to the highest source, the creator that all that is, and that there is no more permissions for other people to do that to you. And all of the roots of those hells are in all of the resonance are gone, gone, gone. And you can only resonate by creating a different frequency. Got it? And that's the happier, healthier frequency. And so when people like that signature comes up, you're going to start noticing energy. You're like, nope, I don't give my permission to go out.
Okay.
And you can feel your aura. Now there's other things we'll have to do, but we're sealing it right now. Every part of you is getting stronger. And then when you look at those old pictures, is there any feeling that was tormenting you? Like when we started, before you came into the room?
Well, I had more of a curiosity about it than anything, but I knew that something bad had happened. I mean, my intuition told me that. I just didn't know if it was still holding on in today's future or not.
Well, anything that's ever happened in the past that had an end result and your energy is still tied to it, it will be continued. But if we did what we did today and you're willing to take back your power and transform that negative out, take all their crap out, which is what we did, change the signature and the frequency so that you now have the power of the contract to break, which you did. And you can have more power of your personal life force in raising that frequency. So it doesn't matter what they did, because that's how they hook you to go back. And that is not something you need. It's like when some scammer comes in and go, oh, I saw you naked on a video. You better watch this. And you go click it. And you're like, oh my God. And then your computer gets virus. No, we don't have to believe the bullshit anymore.
Right.
You can, your spam, don't need it. So when your energy feels like it's going out, you have the power to bring back your strength and then your power back into you. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Got
you
it?
so very much. That was amazing.
Okay. Now, all you're going to do is, if you still can see me, you're going to put your finger in your forehead and put your finger in your belly button. You're going to push and lift up, and you're going to hold that. And then, a couple minutes, you can let it go. Now, I highly suggest you go to my website, medicinewomansolution.wooly.com. I want you to start doing the Celtic weave, the connecting heaven and earth, and the Wayne Cook and the hookup, so that you can build up your aura. Okay. So you don't have to draw those people in, because we've changed the inner world. You should change the outer world. Thank you so much, Brittany, for coming in and honoring me. I appreciate that. And you keep yourself healed. All right.
Yeah, I absolutely adore you. And thank you, Pilly, so much for introducing me to you.
Oh, Billy, you're such a sweetheart. All right. Love you, Steve. Okay. Stay blessed.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. That was good. So now I'm going to, that was too juicy for me to just, thank you, experience, for that. Wow. Okay. Zoe says, this is for me. Okay. So Pilly's next. What does my moment want? Okay. So Pilly, if you want to do that, through the computer, you can come online. After that's Tracy. No, Tracy did a membership. And then after that is, Tracy wants a healing. Okay. So Tracy, you'll have to sit in the waiting room for a few minutes, because I want to make sure I take care of Miss Pilly, because she's next. Okay, so let's see, where is, there you are. Okay, so Miss Pilly, did you want it like this, right? Then Tracy, again, hang in there, hon. You'll be next after Pilly. All right, that's what I thought, sweetheart. And it was so sweet of you, because I happened to go on your page and it says, I want to meet Brenda. I'm like, oh, that's me. Oh, mama. She danced for joy. She says, the weather, does weather affect you or something? Because all of a sudden she said, there's the weather. And she's dancing for joy. She's like, no. She's like yelling at my hand. This one, there's something in there. Did you have a Uncle Bob, Uncle George, Uncle something? Uncle, something to do with an uncle. And so now I've got to look at something. And they're like, yes, they said yes, just to reaffirm, yes, Earth is your school. There's a part of you that's ready to deal with the fact that you are beginning to understand the other side there's no such thing as death. So you're learning about the frequencies, that it's not about having to define it the way the world sees it, because you're beginning to notice that you and your mama are learning. So you're learning on Earth, they're learning on the other side, and something about an uncle. And what is the uncle? No? Yes. So the uncle, and your mama's standing right here. She goes, yes, I don't know. She's giving me a little attitude. So, sentimental feelings. Ooh. What? Let it go. Sentimental feelings. What has the uncle got to do with this? There's some sentimental feelings. And the thing is like anything, the more you make it sentimental, the more it's going to be detrimental. The more you're going to make it something that it's, this is something hysterical. It's isn't funny. Something isn't sad. Hysterical as disapproval. And so there's feelings about disapproval, something to do with how you're connected, because sentimental feelings could be just about how you're connected, how much meaning you give it. So tell me if that makes any sense to you. So there's something you're doing that you have defined it. Like, oops, wrong button, Brenda. So think about, how when you have a movie like, the story of pets, and then they show how domestic they are and partying and solving issues. And it's about how our mind creates something that doesn't really, is it really true? Is that like that? And they're saying that there's a lot about issues with finances. So when you're looking at patterns, a certain part of a story, maybe money is involved. Definitely emotions, certain emotions are involved. Now, does this make sense? Oh God, I think the emotions, I'm just going to dive in with that because what it does is it affects the diet, the way the body receives nutrients. Jesus, Kelly, I don't know what you're going through or if you're even aware of it. No, no, yes. You just want me to talk about this. They said there's an identity that about 8 years old, and it has to do with letting go of looking for acknowledgement. So when you're little, that, you know, wow. This is something that she thought she already had gotten taken care of. Uh-huh. All right. So it's another level. So when you let go and surrender a particular identity, it was feeling of the awkwardness. It actually began to control how you affect yourself today. And as I'm looking a little bit further, there is this, you're so used to diminishing your light, and you think that's normal. But the purpose in you, that the next part of your purpose in you is that you are beginning to do it, but you're not aware of the awkwardness that built up. And so I don't know if you, because it's unconscious, it's incompetent. And in order to do that next aspect of yourself, you're meant to notice how, if you were going to, let's say if I said, Pilly, all right, immediately, whatever you look like, you come in live. I can't do that. Okay, there's hysterical, there's the no, there's the, and then you got to look, what is driving that? Those emotions are driving that. Why is all these blocks there? What is there a self-imposed limitation? It's what is there. You got this? So the way you test yourself is as if you had to do something you didn't want to do, and I don't want to do that. So take how you don't want to do that and really begin to know why, because you can't be fully you or your purpose if you're putting meaning to it, if there's an emotion to it, if there is, and understand that this is just Earth School. This is how we learn. So as you are looking, they said it's just a habit that's coming in to try to kick you in the butt. And there's a whole bunch of worry that you watched others, like your uncle and everybody else, about not wanting to do something. It's like, I want to go live and I can't. Yes. See, we got all that, but it's the story behind that. If I asked you so that, let's say, hey, she can do what Brenda does. Yeah, she can. What would stop her? They said the first thing you need to address is that the belief, the sentimental detachment, the defining of impending doom. What is the impending doom? Kind of start to define that, because the awkwardness is no, because the little self said no, and you watch other people, no. So what is that impending doom? Oh, she was thinking about it today. Yeah, well, that makes sense. Now, here's the thing. How do I do what I do? I'm just going to give you a couple little tips real quick. I get out of my own way. My ego is what's in my way. My ego mindset, believing all the lies, believing all the fear, believing all the emotions. And I remember when I first, Spirit says, hey, you're going to become a teacher. I'm like, what? No, I don't know anybody. You want to talk about extreme introvert? So Spirit says, okay, you're going to take a bunch of pictures of yourself and you're going to make some frames and you're going to say, I love you every day. And every time you have a flaw in that, you have to flip the script. That means a whole bunch of homework. And then you're going to take a video camera and you're going to teach what you are learning and what we want to bring through you. Now, you talk about can't speak. I sounded like, I'm not going to insult. I'm not going to say that. But there is somebody that is in the United States that does not have the ability to use the proper language. And they sound like they're in mental and emotional intelligence when they're supposed to be a professional. Sounds like they are just from kindergarten. It's like when they went to school, they didn't learn how to talk informal or formal. They didn't. And then there's all these, well, I stood in front of that camera and I'm like, I had all these fears, all this awkwardness. And it's like, Spirit says, why do you believe in that? And I go, I don't know. Okay. And they're like, okay, good. Use that. Bark. I said, okay. I put the camera up and I started talking. Hi, my name is, what is my name? Oh. Start over. Just notice, keep the camera rolling. Okay, take two. You pause. You can cut that out. Hi, my name is Brenda. Well, at least I got that part. And then you're going through. It's not about procrastination. It's how procrastination is the key, the reaction and the action that stops you. And that is what you chose to not do because of the awkwardness. Eventually, I started to talk. And then I ended up making signs, billboards, things that were going to give you cue cards. And then because I practiced every day, I noticed that there is no jitteriness because I started to communicate with spirit. And so immediately when I'd be like, I'm like, no, just a minute, I got to get, and you'll learn probably in the memberships about carpets. I mean, I had to slide my energy. Spirit would always line me up so I can tap in and tune in and get turned on. And then all of a sudden it's like, that's my identity now. I mean, you should see me. It's like, oh my God, I gotta put makeup on. Hello, my name's Brenda. And or I'm supposed to be, oh, you line up to more of who you truly are instead of the lies, the egos, the fear, the health. Okay? So you got this. You just have to put yourself in the position and realize that you'd be surprised. Like I didn't think I could climb Mount Kosciuszko, and I started doing it. Now my mind is going, oh my God, that hill is so tall. Oh my God. And it's like, really? Really? What lie? You're saying your feet can't move, or your legs won't move, or what ache and pain are you trying to stop yourself with? And yeah, why am I believing in that? So I would always take my power out of that feeling. Yeah, I'd walk a little bit more. All of a sudden I started again, walk a little bit more, take my power back. And you don't have to be self-conscious. You can take your power back from it. And as you begin to learn how to use these tools, I mean, I walked all the way up Mount Kosciuszko and I walked down and I skipped down the hill and I'm like, oh my God, talk about proud of myself. Oh yeah, I said, there's a reward at the end of this one. And oh yeah, I had fun, exhilarated, proud. Oh, and for the first time I didn't look around going, oh, it's vain if I'm proud of myself. No, it was true pride. It wasn't false self-assuredness. It was, oh, I did it. Well, it's the same thing when I started doing the camera and doing different things. I never think about this anymore. When I had that interview, all right, I trust spirit. You build that trust, and the next thing you know, it's like, you got it. Okay, let's go on to the next. Oh, that's where you can practicing your words, getting a camera. You'll be so surprised. So Tracy, you are next, my dear. And we will bring you into the room. And here she comes. This is exciting. The audio is getting connected. I see her picture. Oh, there's a horse. Oh, I love horses. I want to cry. Well, all of a sudden I want to cry. But she's pretty. She's pretty. And we just have to wait for this audio.
Brenda, don't forget about Dawn. She paid for 2.
So that's what that story is?
That's what that story is.
I didn't understand that, Dawn. And you paid for 2. Now, both of those for you. Is that correct? Let's just get clarified. So after Tracy, Dawn, is Dawn coming in the room, or am I doing it like that?
That I do not know.
Find out that one and find out what she wants to talk about, because she's more than welcome to come onto the thing. If not, I can do it just like I did with Pilly. And I'm sorry, Dawn, that because I misunderstood. I wanted to make sure we got this. And your name's going to go in twice. Tracy, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit louder.
Okay, I can turn it up.
There you go.
Be too loud.
No, you're fine. So tell me, what would you like to talk about, hon?
I'm open.
Okay, so we're just gonna do a cold read. And as you stand before me, you are going through a dark night of the soul. Now, a dark night of the soul is that you're like, same shit, different day. God, there we go again. Stuff that makes you drive you insane. Does that make sense?
Completely.
Okay. And they said that you are doing one, but there's a crossover another. So that means you're kind of like doing 2. That's no fun. That's a lot more hell. they said, but the reason that the other one's coming up because it has to do with the same thing. It has to do with security. Do I feel secure to be me? Do I feel, see, my voice wants to start to go away. I feel like I want to take it. I don't want to breathe right, so I could have asthma issues. I mean, like, that's how I feel. And it's awkward. Do you know what awkward feels like?
Yes.
Okay. Notice how deep it is in you. And where is that awkwardness?
Everywhere.
Okay. That's what we're going to work on. So that awkwardness is saying that she has insecurity. And the first one has to do with the auto response. And the auto response is, I can't let this go because if I let this go, then I'll forget and then bad stuff's going to happen to me again. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then the second one, oops, hold on. Come on. Got it. And the second one, what's the soul saying? Do you feel depressed?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, that's your second one. That's why it doesn't feel as strong, but it's still related to the security within self. So the auto response, now my teeth hurt, like I have indecision issues, but there's something about suspicions. Do people get suspicious of you or do you get suspicious of others?
Suspicious of others.
Okay. Are you superstition as well, or is it just suspicious of others?
I just think I am empathic and I watch people, and it's just I've always watched people growing up and looking for what's right and what's wrong, I guess.
Okay, so here's the thing. We're going to heal all that because some of those things we got to be re-educated on, and we all do. But my teeth, my upper teeth are representing of indecisiveness. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And do you feel like you have to be indecisive, or is it just something you naturally do?
I think it's just something because of a lot of stuff I just naturally do.
Okay. I mean, they're showing me the extreme pain of it.
Yeah.
And it is towards thyself. And so I've got sinus drainage that's freaking unbelievable, by the way.
Yes.
And they said that that's actually part of your anxiety. It is in the sinuses and the teeth.
I also I have sleep apnea, pretty severe.
I could totally see why this would create sleep apnea, because Jesus, Mother of God, it comes in and it grips right here. Oh, no, you're fine. I'm just I have to understand what you're talking to me about.
It's
all
bad.
I was gonna say something. All right, Spirit. Get my shit together. Snuck the snot down. Okay, there's thundering going on and there's extreme fear. I'm going into extreme fear, extreme anxiety. I almost can't see it. I feel like I'm blind as well. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I want to rock. I don't want to see it. Towards myself is like, these are instructions. I just can't. I just can't. I just can't. 2 years old. It's like, I feel like I'm alone. There's nobody here to help me. There's nobody here to help me. I just can't. I just can't. I just can't. And it's like, I can't look up. I can't do anything. And it's like, this is my action. What do I got to do? How do I get myself out of this? How do I do this? And all of a sudden it's like, I have to do or die. I got to go. I got to go. I got to go. And they said, this is an arrested development. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, and then you started to emotionally repress that self-preservation, that fear. Self-preservation is how we will go to the extremes and we will say shit, do shit that we normally wouldn't do because we're gonna die. That's what it feels like. That's the impending doom. And you started to suppress it so well that you become very, what's the right thing to do? What's the wrong thing to do? What's the right thing to do? What's the wrong thing to do? That's how you started to suppress it. By suppressing it, it caused a depression that you can't be you. So you're under pressure to be something by looking up going, because that's the right way and that's the wrong way. And you want this to happen. And that's how you're supposed to do it. So the next logical step, like me, they're telling me I had to be an accountant. Ha, that's a joke. No, I did it anyway because I thought that's who I was supposed to be. But you started to become what you thought was right and wrong because so you wouldn't have to feel or that fear of impending doom. Does this make sense so far?
Yes.
And indecisiveness is that I want to decide for me, but I can't, so I have to be indecisive and I have to figure out what, because everybody's right and wrong changes depending on who you're talking to. It's like, oh my God. And then, yeah, so there's like this wanting to be inner crying. And then
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was a people pleaser for a long time. But
That is
I
good. But that's the root. There's the root. There's what she did. That is how she showed how she's suppressed. She showed now what her outcome is. This is how you're supposed to do it through people pleasing because it took care of the. Oh my God, even indigestion. Oh. Well, it's okay. It's okay. Now, the main thing that caused you to go there is when people would speak, the criticism. It was everywhere. I feel like that's the only way people talked.
Yeah.
They criticized. And so it's like, this is the way you do it. And it's like, you're always supposed to know it before you. And any mistake you feel like you have done, oh, you shouldn't have done that because you should have already known it. It's like, it's so confusing to your little stuff. Now, I have to say, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on outside my house. So I have to, that has to do with you. How does that have to do with you? Now I've got to look outside. So just look at an empty chair for a second. What in gracious sakes am I supposed to peek at? Ah, so there's noise. I just don't know what it is. Okay, so you have a lot of noise happening around you as that child. Oh, there goes my teeth. Meaning, you could hear people talk. You could hear the energy from the machines or energy from people. See, I know the guy next door is rebuilding his landscape. But if you didn't know what was going on, you can only speculate. You can only come up with your own conclusions. So that is, oh, okay, so now I'm going right back into, my fear is interpreting what I'm hearing. Even though certain sounds, oh my God, impending doom, which is a natural sound that a machine would make, but the natural sound that the people would make would be criticism. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Because you're really showing me is that the second, remember I told you the second night of the soul has to do with an action. You have to have a compulsion to correct yourself. It's like, self, you need to correct yourself right now, young lady. And you didn't want anybody else to do it because you couldn't tolerate. I don't want to say that. Oh, I just couldn't cope with it. That in the only way, okay, you had to give yourself instructions. You have to keep rethinking it. You have to keep rehearsing it. And this is what happens to the power of depression. You can't change it. You're under pressure to be something. It becomes hopeless. That all of a sudden you start to drift into that abyss, into not caring, going into depression. Depression is like your drug of choice of how to handle those energies for people because you don't know where you end and they begin. Does this make sense to you so far?
Yeah.
Okay. If I ask Spirit, how would you even start to address this? They said that you've been having dreams. Do you remember any of your dreams?
Not usually.
When you were younger, did you remember your dreams?
I don't know.
Okay.
Before I had the sleep apnea, I used to wake up in like terror situations, but I think that was because I needed to breathe. I don't know.
Well,
Because I would stop.
Yeah. Because your fear would make you hold your breath.
Oh, okay.
Like, I feel like it gets stuck on the intake and not the outtake, which means, and then So what does your machine do? Does it when you're not taking in
It
air or
increase
when
it
you're not,
increases flow in when you're not breathing. Yeah.
so you don't
It
know if
blows.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, I can breathe in and out, but if it's not going correctly, it adds pressure.
Okay, so
Forced
it's
air.
just pinching
Forced
off like
air.
I felt in the beginning. Okay. Um, again, another juicy reading. Sorry, I just find these fascinating. Okay, I don't mean to laugh at your issue. It's like, oh, this
No,
is so.
no, I laugh. It's good. I laugh.
But there's so many people out there that have these things and they don't understand energetically and metaphysically what they mean. So what I'm grabbing right now is like messages. Well, why would your body want sleep apnea? Okay, our soul, all of this creates particular programs so that we can see what we rehearsed through in our past that has now made it as a program to show up in the physical body. So I'm looking at getting my brain to function and saying, pick the word documents, Brenda. That's where it's at. Okay, good job. And then I'll say, okay, messages from the body. Gotcha. I just got to give myself a little instructions here. We're going to look this up. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And oh, we're so close. Not sleepwalking. Come on. No. Sleep apnea. Ready? Let me ask you one question before I say this word. Did you ever feel like you were deprived of your mother's presence, attention, or just deprived of your mother?
Yeah. I was born a 7-month preemie.
Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, shit. Yes.
And so my mom couldn't be with me all the time.
Exactly.
And I work with preemie babies for 20 years now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember the picture now. Yes. Okay. Okay. So sleep apnea has to do with maternal deprivation. For instance, they are intensely sensitive, fearful, and longing for their mother's love or love for someone close. Now, you have to remember, because she was born preemie, the bonding ability, like when you get the baby, you put the baby on you, and the baby can smell you, the frequencies, all of this, and roots for the milk. And then there's a bonding that happens between the mother and the child inside the brain. And then when you don't really quite have that, then you can have issues like this. Okay. So you became fully aware. That's one reason. Oh, now we're really getting some juicy thoughts here. Oh, really? Now they just flipped open the book. I mean, part of your catalog, your Akashic records. You needed to experience what? Okay, so when you feel the people around you, and you don't know where they end and you begin, and you're like, but that's not who I'm looking for. You part of you when you're a baby, you were looking for that signature of your mother. And every time she would have to go home or couldn't be in the room, you're like, where is it? Where is it? It's not the same as in the womb. Where is it? And so you pick up and you're like, no, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. And you didn't get that part of you. And when we're born, we have needs, the primal needs that need to be met. Keep warm, bonding, love, all of that, right? Keep dry. See, this is where I want to know. I feel like I'm deprived a little bit more. So they have what happens in place of that. And I don't care what age you are, when love starts to disappear, the negative usually comes up because it's a frequency. Disappointment. Do you feel like you have a lot of disappointment, bitterness, unforgiveness?
Towards my mom?
No, just towards
Oh.
life.
I generally try to embrace the positive, but I have been through a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so when she's consciously been working, there's always roots. So it's not always about the moment unless you have not done any work. But she said there has been this in my past. Okay, so it tells me there's still roots, because what you have felt or feeling consciously, we can clear it. Your body's consciousness will carry it forward. Anything from the past that's unresolved can show up in the now. So it says at the same time, they dare not to express or even acknowledge those feelings out of fear of total rejection and abandonment. Even though our mothers may deeply love us, there's that first moment that we still feel like we're going to be rejected. We don't want to have another happening. We don't want that to happen again. So we will sit in this impending doom. No. Okay. ah, there's
See,
also
my mom had extreme anxiety, so I didn't know what that was for until I was an adult. And she's like, "Oh, I have anxiety," So
yeah.
my mom there was a lot of home anxiety and unhappiness in their marriage, and they were young. So there was a lot of turmoil.
So here's the other thing. Did you feel deep-seated guilt, shame, or grief?
From different moments, yeah.
Okay. And what about joy avoidance or happiness squashing? Or people can't receive love, so they deflect it.
I probably did go through some of that.
Okay. This is all related to that sleep apnea. What I'm going to tell you is that now that you're becoming aware of it, I understand they're great alarms. And it's all about, I have to reject you first, or I have to reject this. I know you're going to reject it, therefore I'll just accept your rejection. So I want you to do part of your homework about what is rejection to you. How does it look? And well, if you've done some work, you may not see it. So this is where your inner world creates your outer world. So you're going to look at everybody and you're going to see how they do rejection. Because spirit, you say, thank you, spirit, things will just start standing like sore thumbs. You'll be watching a movie and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is part of that law of attraction, but the quantum law of attraction is you're going to do some homework with it. There you go. You're like, oh shit, yeah. When that starts to come up, notice how rejection feels. And if it becomes an anxiety, there's a lot you can do. One of them is like, I would definitely say do the, oh my God one, putting your hand on your head, okay? Because there's a party that feels like I need to take action and I got to get off this train track. It's going to hit me. That's where they said, just get up and start walking. All right. You may not be aware of it, but it's at night the most when you're sleeping is when the anxiety kicks in even more because it has to do with the meridian. And I'm just going to check here. So this one interferes with that one. And then, so do you have very specific times of nights that the apnea would have kicked in the most?
I work nights, so I sleep during the day, which is very challenging.
That's why the stomach meridian came up. It says it goes from 7 to 9 is when she has the issue. I'm like, isn't that when you're supposed to be awake? Now you've explained it.
What did you say? What time?
Being 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. Are you in bed or getting ready to go to bed, or are you,
I try to, but sometimes I have to stay up because I have to like go to the doctors. But
okay.
yeah, sleep.
Okay, so what happens is that you're going to have to set up an appointment with me because I see worry and hysterical energy stuck in that.
Oh, we will. I plan on working.
All right, so, because this hysterical energy, this is why it's connected, because there's a part of you that like, oh shit, this is going to happen. Oh shit, it's going to happen. So you take a lot of the information today, take notes of it, because when we go to work on this, you can bring it to me because I ain't going to remember it.
Right.
But bring it to me, and then as soon as you start to, then my body will start to download and again look at you, and we can get back onto this path. But yes, hopefully you got enough insight off of that, and let me thank you. I know you're no problem that she went longer.
So,
I like
so amazing. I'm learning so much. I just love you and my new friends, Pilly and everybody. Brittany and
I hope I don't know if you have. Are you joining the membership? I can't remember.
Yeah, tonight. I did yes, tonight.
Good. Start watching some of the videos. Start setting your GPS. Slowly but surely, we're all going to start to. I can't get involved that much because that's a lot of my time. But we're slowly beginning to create a tribal unit where certain things will get answered, certain things will get going, and you will see some differences. You just, as long as you'll get what you put into it. So I think you will, because I think you really want out of this help. I agree. Let's get her out. Yes. Thank you. All right. Thank you, my dear,
thank you.
And we will talk to you later. Bye-bye. Stay blessed. Okay. So Dawn, she said she wants it this way. So we are going to get the right mouse. We will honor that. Where's Dawn? There she is.
Did say what she wanted to talk about, so
Yeah, she says she did or didn't.
Did not.
Okay, so we're just going to jump in and we will, and I'll look up. Dawn, if you want to talk about certain things, you would go right ahead. So, because she's paid for extra and I already gave a bunch of extra. So then what we'll do is that 8, 16. So I'll give you a few more minutes than what you paid for, okay? So there we go. Well, that's not right. I'm going to give you a lot more. That's fine. What do you want? Gotcha. Okay, weird enough, I've got dawning as the age of Aquarius. I got this song running through my mind. So I have a feeling that you have been born on a cusp of learning. During that time, it's like these are the people that had to jump in and abandon what other people believed. They're like, you know what? My pull of my energy says I have to be this. Yes, it's going against what other people said. Yes, it's part of the movement. Yes, okay. I feel like that energy you've been kind of denying. It's like, ooh, I don't want to. But yet, at the same time, there's a part of you that says, I kind of know myself a little bit, but I don't want to. So, Dawn, as we look at this, do you feel that you have to reject your reality because it doesn't fit for anybody else? Does this make sense? Because they said there's a longing. I can feel this. It's down in, well, it says in a couple places, but it's a longing. So look at that word, longing. If you're longing, then no matter what you want, it won't come to pass. So let's say you put the order in and you told the universe you want it, and the universe says, here's your tracking slip. You know it's coming. Okay, that's great. But then the longing comes in and has to cancel that order until you get the longing filled. And I think that's why you didn't get to be in the correct order. Yes, because you were supposed to see that it's normal for you, that you know, okay, it's like, oh, that's just Dawn. She'll deal with it. She knows. And then Dawn has put herself in the position of not receiving. Does this make sense? Because they're showing all these little pictures that you're just not, you're used to it. Yeah. But at the same time, oh man, the excitement in you, Dawn. It's like, ooh, I'm ready to be me. And I'm going to ask, are you afraid of your light? No, it's just that towards yourself, when you were 2 years old, you had said, or you created a habit. You created a habit out of impending overwhelm, knowing that somebody is going to be overwhelmed because you got too happy, too excited, she goes, yes, okay. So notice how you kind of curb your appeal, curb your enthusiasm. Ooh, is that a show? You curb yourself anyway. And they said that you even convince yourself that it's not in alignment with what they want. So I have to learn how to give up expectations that I want. I have to learn. And so it's like one of the things that we do as a child is that we're supposed to learn how to cope, manage, deal, and pacify the emotional stuff that happens so that it raises our intelligence. But if we are doing it in a very unhealthy way, the only way we know as a child, like choosing depression or putting up with rejecting parts of yourself, or then the intelligence doesn't get to grow. So then it goes into a repeated story of how your behavior and your mannerisms is and all of that. She said, absolutely. Now, because of that, you've restricted the mental intelligence, which is to define what does Dawn want. Oh, Dawn, you better behave. So it's like you have these you wrote this little manual that this is the way I've got to be. We all do it. But man, that excitement in you is like one day. Just wait, one day. It'll be my turn. Can you feel that? It's a beautiful feeling. It's the beautiful you. I mean, you let that come out sometimes, and when you glow, I swear people can see that. And then as soon as you notice that they see you glow, you're like, and you start to diminish that light. Does that make sense? And now see, my teeth, the whole top, it's going up to here. So your triple warmer goes off, which is, great alarm. Oh my God, stop that, stop that. Oh, she said every day of my life. Okay, because it's going off, you have to remember the decisions that you make. So you force yourself to be indecisive, especially if somebody else is around. And then it's like, oh, that's right. I remember I have to choose this because I can't have this because of that. That's a lot of talking inside that head. But you contemplate, because the thing that you don't know how to resolve at the time you need it was the flee feeling. I need to run. Okay. And there's this tooth again. Hold on. What about it? Towards south. What about it? The dark night of the soul. So you have one. So you're beginning to wake up in this particular hell that your soul wants you to evolve out of. And they said part of that is that there's this impending invalidation. It is so clear to you that if I make myself invalidate myself, like let's say you're giving a piece of advice, hey, Pilly, you're giving a piece of advice, you quickly invalidate your own self. And I don't know if you're aware of some of the words that you say. But it helps you take your life, hold you back. I don't know if you are aware of it yet, but if you learn, like in one of the things we learn in the pilot class and stuff we're going to learn in the membership is about flippant speaking. Because flippant speaking, even though it's just, oh yeah, how's your day? Not good. That's flippant speaking. But flippant speaking is also this, thank you for the protection, Spirit. The flippant speaking has to do with, now that thunder has everything to do with, you're like, I have to watch what I say and do because that is going to come and get me. Not the thunder, but the energy that I've done something wrong. Oh my God, strike me dead now. Cancel. But, it's like, yeah. Do you understand that? Yeah, because if I look up, because you know how a house shifts? And if you didn't understand that, you're like, oh my God, what's wrong? So it's like looking up and feeling like you've done something wrong. Okay, now I'm watching you look up. So I believe you have pictures that are in this direction. Meaning, like if you did EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, and you take what we said, and you're like, oh, I remember that time. I remember that time. And you're like, even though I remembered that time, okay, and you're tapping, you'll be looking at a picture that you won't know you're looking at. But if you can look at it and stare it down, you can start taking the power back. But at the same time, when you go through and you do all the tapping and you're getting to the end of it where you have to do, I say big cat eyes, that is, you look down to the left, you look down to the right. And when you start to do big cat eyes, as you're bringing this eyes up, you'll either jerk or, but you'll get to here and all of a sudden I feel like maybe your eyes are burned or they'll jerk all over. But you want a nice steady. And when you do it nice and steady, you're taking it all over and around. That's what you want. Now, I feel like it'll be jerking, going backwards and forwards. I totally believe if you began to do the EFT and doing that and looking at that feeling, when that happens, you have to start over. When that happens, you have to start over. It can be annoying, but what you're doing is you're taking the power off the pictures, power from the outside, power of how you got to constantly stare at it. So you're kind of removing the filters and the habits along the way. When this begins to happen, your brain does not have to have those pictures and you don't have to stand in the long position. There's a, what? You accepted what? You recalled some efforts and you would start to do something. People, you've learned that, okay, so you don't want to go there because people would just sever their love. If I were to be me, if I would just be Dawn, if I wanted to go woo, 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 dance naked and do whatever I want, which I feel like this is the natural part of me, I already know that I'm going to be rejected. I already know people are going to sever their love, and I cannot let go of that severed love. That's the only love I'm getting, because there's no other love that's ever going to come my way. This is how the little child's feeling. This is what the program's doing. Now, the Dawn, that's chronologically aged to who she is, it'd be like, what the fuck that woman talking about? But at the same time, I know what that woman's talking about. So you can feel these programs, you can feel these parts of yourself. But let me tell you, you're perfectly normal. And when you begin to heal out and you create you create where the left side is more congruent than the right, or the right is more congruent, you're still out of balance. But all of a sudden, you're going to eventually, the left side and the right side of you are going to come into balance, and you're going to have this congruency, and you'll start to feel whole. Because there's a part of her that just got a part of her soul just went, whoop. Okay, so now it's starting to raise its frequency so Dawn can feel it. You're like, you mean I lived their way out of a program from the past? Yes. My auto response that's on pilot and I have no idea is causing me to do what? To have to become self-centered, to be like them, to fit in. Yes, I do flip it talking, because that's how I can expand myself without them chewing my ass out or anything. So I have to become them. No, you did. You don't have to, but you did. It's like when my mother, I'd go to work, and you have to, so 9 o'clock was when you check out. But because I ran the cash register, and we were in a pharmacy, and it was a small group, we'd all make sure we take the money to the bank together so that we had each other's backs. So sometimes I wouldn't get home until 9:40. My mother couldn't get it through her head, and so she was always angry with me. I ended up developing, I can't stand when my mother does this. So I came up with, fine, I'm gonna be angry first. So then I developed this nasty habit of having to come home, being angry first, bitch about stuff, so that it always diffused her. Then I brought this into the relationship, and then it became a temperament, and then I was losing so much power. I didn't like that part of me, and I'm like, and when I realized when I created it, it was like, but I don't need to create it anymore. How come I can't stop it? And it was because of an emotion, and it was a part of that automatic pilot. And then I learned how to heal that out, and I don't have to go there. Okay. And they said a lot of yours was developed because you felt insecure because the connection was gone. And it's because that is your identity. I have to be insecure. It's my identity. I have to, there is no connection. I know. There's no, that doesn't have to be your whole body's like, oof. I feel like I'm constantly diffusing others' emotions. Yes, good. You got it. And this is where you have to remember, and this is the hard part, because you're out of alignment with yourself, or you don't know your true identity, you will hook your boat up to all these people, and then they will drive your ambitions. And you need to hook yourself up with like-minded people that want to empower you, that want to see you achieve. And that's where I have to tell people you have to be okay to grow, and you have to be okay with losing family and friends. If your ego says, oh, I cannot do that, just repeat and keep yourself diminished, you're not going to go anywhere. But if you start to heal the fear, the hell, all of those things, and it'll change the way you think and the way you progress. And what happens is those people will just automatically fall away. I mean, Amy was like, oh yeah, this is my best friends. This is blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it's like, I asked her, I go, so where are they now? They kind of disappeared on their own. Yeah. And you're okay with it, aren't you? Yes, I didn't think I would be, but wow. And if you begin to notice how people fall in and out of your life, then that means that you are also going to draw more great love, because Amy's got a lot more family and friends and love. Well, family, I think, is more of the new family she picked up and that are not blood related. And You don't need to do it anymore to have peace. You don't have to diminish your life so they have joy. You don't have to give up your life force so that it's not your job to make them happy. It's their job, and it's time for them to grow up. It's their job to learn how to balance their own karma. You don't need to take this karma on anymore, okay? I'm sorry, just read what Billy wrote. But yeah, it's scary. The body says, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But if you begin to tap it out, do certain things. I'm hearing like a power surge through the phone. Interesting. And if you learn to, I've got this, and you can build that confidence and security in you and spirit and your true identity and communicating with two halves of yourself, you'd be surprised of how you'll zig, they'll zag, how if they're supposed to grow with you, they will grow with you because your filters have changed. And they will, remember, no one can show up to you any other way than you let them. So you don't want to take baggage into the next relationships. You unpack your shit, you throw away stuff that don't fit no more, and then you can travel lighter. And you'd be surprised at how much more happier you can become. I asked Amy, do you want to go back to that? She goes, oh, hell no. She's like, she knows. Aha, that's why you witnessed.
Oh,
She scared the shit out of me. She's a quiet little person. Oh, what was that, Amy? She said, hell no. Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah, she's laughing because she knows she scared the bejeebies out of me. Hey, I didn't need the bejeebies anyway. What the hell are bejeebies anyway? Yeah. But anyways, Billy says, I learned so much by just watching Brenda's lives. Yes, that's what I wanted. She goes, I want to get popcorn and pickles. God, that sounds good. I want popcorn, but I couldn't get it. So, because of the shutdown, I tried to order popcorn. No, I had, and somebody made me, and I did it back when I was in Michigan. It was popcorn with cinnamon and salt or something like that, or sugar and sweet. It was something to do with sugar and salt. It was like sweet and sour or something. Oh my God, I was just like woofing those pop. I mean, I'm not good with popcorn because I got to make sure I don't choke, but oh my God, I was woofing it down. You'd think it was just the flavor. It was a great combination. You can do a really good once and then the next of it, you're always comparing, shit, didn't do it right. But that's why you take notes. I'm really good in the kitchen. I never tab a recipe. I just throw that shit together, and if it doesn't work out, I fix it. But then when it does work out, it's like, oh my God, yum, yum. And, and I was LaRonda was sharing a story, and she's like, yeah, I just put a lot of love in it. But then I also say, yeah, I don't have garlic. Fine, there's garlic in it. And people will walk around and go, good taste, I like the garlic in it. She's like, yeah. We're all made of energy. What do you mean you can't share? Can anybody share? Well, remember, if you hit, okay, I haven't had issues yet, but if you love the show and you shared the show, Spirit usually loves to give cards here and there to certain people. It's not about worthiness. It's just Spirit will say that one, that one, that one. And it's whatever you're in alignment with. You can end up getting, people write me back, oh my God, I so needed that. That's what I was just thinking. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you. So Spirit likes to do these things. So remember, Spirit will go through and see if you had hit the love button or if you shared, and then we go through and they show me. Oh my, I choke on popcorn all the time too. I know. My worst experience, LaRonda, and I realize now it had a lot to do with not the fact that I had asthma, but it was with the man I was going to marry. He took me out on a date, and then all of a sudden he was being a butthead just because I had asked for popcorn, but I was going to pay for it. And then he was just grumpy ass, like, because he doesn't eat popcorn. I shouldn't either. That should have been a sign. But then he's like tasting popcorn, and all of a sudden he ate my whole bag. So I went to go get another one because all of a sudden he likes popcorn. And I was choking in the middle of the theater. I will tell you how many doctors and men, women, nurses, I swear to God, the whole theater was filled with them. He just sat there and goes, stop doing that. The guy behind us I don't know if he was in ambo or what, but next thing I know, I've got all these people around me going, get her down, and then they got it out. And he didn't get two hoots and I'm like, what? I'm looking at all these people and I'm just like, I'm sweating because that's like, I was on the verge of dying, and I'm looking at everybody and they're like, you okay, you okay, you okay? And I'm like, yeah. And they go, okay. So then they even rewound the movie just so we could all watch because we missed a big chunk of it. But yes. So I eat intentionally, I chew, and pay attention. And same for fish. Okay. Oh, good. People are able to share popcorn. No. Oh my God, Pilly. Now it's in my head. Imagination. It's amazing what we can do. All right. I'm going to double check to make sure there is no more. Okay, good. And make sure I fulfilled everybody's request. That's good. And yeah, I know. And then I attracted another man to do the same thing. Now this man out here, the one I got, just adores me, loves me, and he'll be there in a hot second for me. And it's like, I really hit my shit. I'm just so proud of myself for that. So let's do some 1 minute reads, hey?
Yes,
Thank you for waiting, and we're gonna timestamp that, and here we go.
Okay. Ashley Hain.
Ashley. Okay. Anything specific?
Whatever you're guided to tell me.
Gotcha. I wondered why that closed. I was like, what happened? Okay. Ashley. Here we go. I feel a lot of energy of hatred. I feel like it's like a big ass gas bubble around you of people. And it's like, everybody has a story. And somehow you're just like, and the stories aren't very good. Some of these stories are just negative, like hatred. And you're waking up to how the world is, the paradigm of hatred is collapsing. And you're beginning to become aware of that. I don't need to hold on to that. That can actually go. But it's the waking up and notice how many people actually talk that way, act that way, be that way, and you kind of can feel it. And there's a part of you that just says, so the waking up's good. So tap out or use the, oh my God, but get out of, I don't need to feel that. I don't need to absorb that. I don't want that in my space anymore. And they said it has a lot to do with work, stress at work, something to do with work. Somehow they're all related. Okay, next.
Patty.
Patty.
What healing do I need the most?
Well, there's a part of you that feels that you can't be you. People are going to stop loving you if you're you. There's a part of you that just feels like I can't love myself enough to take care of myself. Oh, that's deep. Because I believe in overtime hopelessness. I really can't stop worrying, and my worrying makes me have to overcompensate and throws me back into unhealthy relationships, on things I don't want anymore, and it just keeps me into diminishing light. Oh, well, that's what we call the dark night of the soul. To help you start to get over that is when you see that, is hold L1D, because there's a part of you that feels like I'm frightfully overjoyed. I'm frightened that this bad pictures that you have, you need to write those down. Okay, if I do this, then I'm going to end up not being able to pay my bills, or I'm going to be somewhere in the ditch. Start looking at those fears, and then you need to tap out those fears, because those fears only have the energy that you put into them. But if you also ignore them, then they still have the energy from before. And when you begin to face those fears, you're breaking down the sensory with them, and you realize that they don't really have to hold any merit. They're not true, but you don't know that you need to do that. Okay, who's next?
Let's see. TP.
Remember to write down the timestamp. Okay. Something uncomfortable and an intolerance. Miss TP, you are going to do you are going to, and I want you to, I don't think I have these up. You're going to type in TSING. They're called sing points, but you're going to TSING and then type in meridian points. And you will see this, okay? It's at the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes. And when you find where those tips are, I want you to begin to rub them, because your kidney and your bladder need to be rubbed. Now, at the tip of your toes, at the nail beds, right next to your nail bed. And when you look at your nail bed, notice that it's like a grain of rice. It's the size of it. It's on each side. And you will begin to manipulate that. Well, you can tap it. You can use a laser light. You can, I'm not sure. I think a bobble wand might work. But you need to manipulate that. Do both sides. Now, that's where your toes are, and it's on your baby toe. You can do it to all of them. If I had more time, we'd walk you through it. But look it up, tap them out, and let the body begin to heal. Okay, next.
Miss Betty.
Miss Betty. That's usually the Rhonda song. Love. Ooh, you've been getting some of your self-efficacy, that ability to get results, through love instead of through the negativity. You're beginning to. Good job, Betty. Oh my God. Oh my God. And so you're realizing that the obsession causes discouragement, and you're like, but that takes away my it takes away my attention. Then I go and gall. And it says, really? Do I need to do that? You're starting to really stop hiding behind that. And why are you hiding behind that? And it was because you felt timid. So notice the pattern, what you were doing, and notice that it had to do with being timid. So now you can really just go in and jump into feeling timid and heal that out, because you didn't know what to do with it. And so that created that reaction. And that's why you had that personality that turned into a temperament. Good job. All right, next.
Marion Novin.
Marion Novin. Okay, timestamp that. Anything particular?
Nope.
Okay. Why do people that have charm seem to affect me? She has an active memory of someone that was so charming, which was very dishonorable. It kind of affected the way, how do you want to put it? The way that you to be you. Kind of thought, instead of that being their problem, you kind of pull away, but you kind of also started to disconnect yourself. And then you yearned for a relationship, or you yearned for this. So there's more than one type of person out there, but you're connected to, if somebody has charm, they're going to be dishonorable. And so then I have to become bashful, and then I have to be stubborn and whining. So what that means, just real quick, is that you developed a particular behavior when you were little, and now that program wants to change out because you had somebody that was very dishonorable, and that's your experience you need to get out of. Did you get Bobby's email, by the way?
Yep.
Okay, so who's next?
Vicky.
Miss Vicky. Okay, so your body's asking you to start addressing some depressed stuff. The depression was because it didn't know how to cope, handle, and deal, and pacify, and process out, and resolve, or problem solve how to stop people from acting mean. You didn't know how to do it anymore. So the depression had come in, and that is the only reality. So you rejected the reality of hell that's constantly attacking you. You inserted your reality of the only way to solve it was to go into depression. And now that depression is starting to bubble up and say, when you don't need this, and you're going to feel your stubbornness saying, no, that's what saved my ass. I'm not giving this up. I'm not giving this thought processing. I'm not giving up this depression, because that is how I handled how people were acting mean to me. Okay. Now in your heart, it's about, I don't know what to do. And I don't want to have confidence. I don't want to be having my power because I don't want that people to act mean to me again. Vicky, L1D. L1D Vicky. Okay. Next.
Amanda.
Brenda. There is a little bit of insecurity because they said that you rapidly have a behavior like rapid mannerisms or speech. There's something there. And that has to do with the erratic energy that is trapped inside your body. It's like that is part of your identity. I don't know any other way to feel. This is all I know. And they're saying that it's about you becoming a martyr. It's like I have to give up. Now, the martyr I explained is not that you have to die for a cause. It's about how you have to suffer, okay, so that other people can be happy. A suffer, because that's the only way to solve it. If you're doing that, then you need to look at how you do it and notice that you're betraying yourself and that you feel, you know, whatever the story is, you just know that you're not compatible with that anymore, being a martyr, and you are growing out of it. But you're trying to figure out how to deal with people that don't have any empathy, and just unhook yourself and go find people that are actually decent. And the people that you love, that you believe are decent, notice that that's just who they are. And you can respect it, stay there, but don't lose yourself. But if you begin to gain yourself, it's like you're trying to say, well, I'm going to talk negative, but expect a positive life. So you have to come in an alignment with more of who you are on a heart level. All right.
Bobby.
Next. Bobby. You know, Bobby, every time I go there, I can just hear my nickname as a kid. So it's like, I like that. Okay, anyway. There's a habitual fear that you feel others have, but that causes you to overcompensate to help fix them. And they said that there's a part of you that's, you don't, what the world? I don't know if I've got time to go there. They want me to go to body talk and look at body talk. They said that it has to do with your abdomen area or genital area. There's some energy, weird energy down there. And okay, so what is about that? And that is you're longing for something. And there is anger and excitement. There's a whole bunch of confusing energy that's stuck down there. And at the same time, you're repulsed. So let's say you want to have sex, but you don't want to have sex because you have moral changes, moral beliefs, different decisions. But at the same time, your body says, well, this is just a natural part. Another part of you says, no, that's wrong. And there's something that needs to be pulled out. There's something that needs to be pulled out. And if I ask what age that is, it's something that happened to you at 3. Good or bad, there's something that's there. All right. Who's next?
Tammy Ann, and she wants, is there anything my dad wants me to know? Okay.
So there's an inferiority complex when it comes to what your dad says. He says something about there's a behavior. He sees a behavior. Your dad says, pick up these cards, and he says, throw down. There's something about moving, motivation, and memories. And I said, is there a link to all this? And they said, yes. He says it has to do with the parental care. So how you were raised. There's something about how you can't, how you need to move, or how you're moving, how you're motivated, and how certain memories. And if I said, well, okay, well then, what is that about? And he says, well, so glad you asked. You're funny. You feel depleted. So you're doing this particular pattern and you feel depleted. It's like, here's a strategy. This is all it is, and then I feel depleted. And that depletion is actually causing you to become very, very, I don't want to say unwell, but you'll see it whether physically, mentally, or emotionally, inside or outside of you. It's just that, you feel depleted. And what happens is that things that you should not be affected by are affecting you, and you can feel it. Okay, next.
Aaron.
Aaron?
Aaron, male Aaron.
Oh, male Aaron. Okay, gotcha. Paid attention to the longing, but holding back. I keep diminishing my light because I can't cope with the insecurity because I'm nervous. What's that word? Nervous of the reality of things I might have done that may come back to haunt me. This is what I believe towards myself, and you started to feel this when you were 5. And so what happens is you don't want to feel that vulnerability, and that frustrates you because you know you have to move, to do what you want. You have to have courage and vulnerability. Vulnerability and courage go together to get in the ring of life. But you frustrate yourself, you hold yourself back, and it frustrates you. And so then it's like, let's say you're writing a story, and all of a sudden you're like, God, I can't think. Your body does an automatic reaction, pulling you away. Okay, next.
Amber.
Hi, Amber. All right, Miss Amber. I was petrified. You know that song. They like to use that one. What it's about thinking. So does some of your thinking just kind of freeze you? You know, I just like freeze, F-R-E-Z, freeze you. This is Amber here. And something unreceived. You have a memory that's going, I know how people sever their love to me. I just know it. And so then the auto response in you starts to kick in when you start to see triggers, when you expand your beautiful self and everything's going good. You know, you're getting more of good and good, but the up and down that you had in the past is like, oh, happy Amber. People have to take Amber down, and it goes up and down. But you're getting more of the highs of happiness, more of it's okay to be you, but there is an auto response that needs to be addressed. And it's about how you looked yourself as a 1-year-old and told yourself that you are bad. And so it just keeps coming up. Okay. All right.
Kayleen.
Oh, yeah, the Aaron. Yes, Garrus Aaron. And it showed up as Aaron. So we already did that. What's the timestamp for Aaron?
I put it in the comments.
Oh,
38.
I got to catch up. So there it is. You know, Aaron. Yes. Who's next? Did you say?
Kayleen or Colleen. It's K-A-L-E-E-N.
Ah, Colleen. Okay, wonderful. Colleen. You can feel other people's awkwardness. And your defense mechanism goes automatically up, which means I don't know if you're aware of that even happens. And because you can feel their worthlessness that they think about themselves, you're like, oh God, please don't go there. And again, I'm not sure if you're even aware of it, because it's like you look at it and you know that's not rational. And you're like, I don't know how to get to your head that no, you're worth something. But now it's becoming to the point where people like to live there and it just muddles you. Why? Okay. And then there is this, I can't be confident because I'm just going to get my heart crushed. So it's like you go and you be confident and you're talking to the wrong people, by the way, because they're just a program. And when they don't take your advice or when this certain things happen, there's a part of you gets crushed. Okay, that's not your audience. Find your audience. And who's next?
Me.
Ah, awesome. So how are you doing? Let's talk about your polarity. And how are you feeling?
My head's spinning.
Okay. So the polarity. Now understand your polarity has a lot to do with
spinning?
Yes. That has to do with the energies, like the Wi-Fi, the unseen energies, the what my husband thinks, what other people thinking. And when you are laying there and you're like, oh, I wonder how Kevin's doing. Okay. Oh, I wonder how, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just a normal thinking. Your field has changed so much, but the body hasn't caught up with you in your healings and things that you've been doing, that you're just out of sync. So, and I'm going to tell you that you need to also look up Sing points, T-S-E-I-N-G, meridian points. And so remember, it is your toes and your fingers. It's this part down here. And there is a pattern that you need to do. They said, and I'm just going to read off the letters, and then you're going to do them. So when you tap, understand, Ames, as you look up, you're going to like use like something sharp, maybe your fingernail, a pen cap that doesn't have the ink on it, but you're going to do a tapping 30 times. Now, they're going to say they want you to do the left side first, and they want you to do your left hand first. They want SI, and then they want your pericardium. And then you're going to go down to the right foot, and then you're going to do the liver and the kidney. I think it's KI. Some people have them different. And then you're going to go over to your left side, and you're going to do your liver and your bladder. Now, the one thing about the bladder, no, that's on the still on that tip. Do you want her to add another point? No. Then you're going to go to your right side, and you're going to do the small intestine, and then the heart, and then the lung. You may have to make this a routine. Because they went in that order to left to right, that's what you're going to do. So you'll start, you go all the way through, and then maybe a couple hours later until your body starts, hopefully you'll notice a difference immediately about your polarity. You'll have to let me know.
Okay.
There might be another point or may not be. You should feel a difference. We could add some source points, but at this point, this is about training your body on a deeper level to not have to go there. So let's say in a couple hours, let's say you do it 3 times a day, or when you feel the polarity goes out. Again, same routine, that direction, having to go left to the right, to the left to the right. You know what I'm saying? Can you see the pattern that you wrote? Okay, so you're gonna do that, and then you're going to tell me if it worked and where you stand. Okay, later. Because it's connected to how our body is amazing because it is meant to handle anything that life has to offer, anything in this hologram. But sometimes we have to tweak ourselves, heal ourselves, resolve some things, and unpack some shit, unlearn some stuff. So we're just tweaking your body to say, come into alignment, because if that's there, you should have no problem to adjusting. Okay, so we just got to kind of create an upgrade. Betty says, been using my personal choice, living in the present, I'm finding clarity. Good job. I noticed that my experiences are coming and showing me changed results I was longing for while stuck in insanity. Ooh. When I surrendered to yes, I want change, and I understanding letting go is the key. Voila. Living on this side of the long-time depression, anxiety feeds the appetite. Keep healing and growing. Oh my God. That's a great witness. Betty, I'm so proud of you. Just keep going. Oh, we have a family member that just, we're going to talk. Relation, just found out some bad news. Not sure if it's come to the grapevine or if you're even close to that side of the family, but we may have to talk. Amber says, yes, thank you for validating that my moods have been stabilizing. Honestly, love how you always know exactly what I need to hear. Wonderful. It's good to, I was thinking about you the other day, Amber, so I'm glad that you showed up. That's good. Okay, that it? Is there any more?
No more. And I've just refreshed it.
Excellent. I'm going to refresh too, just to make sure nobody else is paid. Now remember, hit love, and if you shared, get ready. Hopefully Face Not Book doesn't say it's against community standards, just to say thank you. But hope, we'll see. Thank you, Spirit, for making the alignment happen with great joy. Let's see here. Okay, and understand, join up now, and you can get the rest of April free when you're paid for May. So get in there. Let's get going. Let's heal. Okay. Yes, Hilly, it's always a pleasure. It is. What do we always say? Resolve to evolve.
Heal instead of deal.
Feel it to heal it.
You can heal that.
And as always, stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
Yes, it's very important to do is to stay blessed. I gotta get out of the screen. How do I do this? I gotta figure out, I forgot how to do this. Stop stream. There.